Nobody worry about me. Why you got to give me a fight? Can't you just let it be?
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Gorgeous morning out at Legends Golf Course here in the southern tip of Indianapolis, the region out here. And it is a terrific day for golf. It's that beautiful time, Kevin Bowen and James Boyd. Early in the morning, sun has just come up. You look out over a pristine golf course with the appropriate trees and shrubbery and the greens and the sand and everything. And you just got a little bit of mist rising up from the ground. Like, this is the absolute perfect time of day, is it not?
Yeah, I'm glad I was able to make it back from Baltimore in time. Look across, see the beautiful face of Kevin Bowen early in the morning. But it's been nice. And honestly, driving up, I was just hoping that the fog clear up a little bit so people can have a good, nice day of greens.
Well, I'm glad I'm on the other side of the table because right now I might be approaching midnight, boys.
Uh-oh. What's going on?
This makes me happy. I love I love talking to you two. I love, obviously, being so fortunate and lucky to have this job and talk sports from 7 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. We got a big one tonight here in about 12 hours, so they'll be kicking off. But more than anything, I love watching a golf course come to life. Yep. And this is absolutely heaven right now. I should have brought the clubs, right? I mean,
You didn't even put them in your back?
Well, no, I mean, like, brought them up here.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Can I go putt during the break?
I might go get mine. I brought mine, so who knows?
Is that good? Look at these great trophies we have here for our winners today. Can we show these on the YouTube camera?
Yeah, can you reach that? Can you reach that?
Man, who needs a claret jug at the British Open when you got this thing at the Fan Golf Invitational here? Look at this. This is like a mini Larry O'Brien trophy.
It's great stuff right there.
Look at that. Mark, can you see that on the YouTube chat?
It does
looks beautiful.
look like a Larry O'Brien.
No one on our staff is eligible to win that, by the way.
That is awesome.
No one on staff eligible to win. Anyway, we're out here with the Franciscan Foundation raising a lot of great money for those folks, and they do so much good across the community. We'll tell you all about that as the day goes along. We got a ton of sports to talk about. Obviously, you're back from Baltimore. James got back safely yesterday. You missed a near brawl in the studio between Kevin and Mark yesterday over a now discontinued beverage called Mondo.
So I do have questions about this, Kevin, because I saw you post that they might have been at Lowe's, and I felt like, one, should you trust that? Is that a real Google search? Not that I doubt that you are trying to find these things, but, man, are we buying drinks from Lowe's? Is that a thing?
Well, that's
Lowe's Supermarket, to be clear on that.
Oh, I didn't know they had a supermarket.
Yeah.
Out of the area.
in Texas.
Yeah.
Let's be fair.
But
it's in Texas.
Oh, it's in Texas.
I really don't want to spend a ton of time on this yesterday because we did a lot, but I do want to say I left the show with even more concerns that I addressed with you near the end of the show, Kevin. If this product was actually discontinued in 2022 and someone still can find it somewhere online, is that a product you're still willing to ingest into your body?
Jeff, I've licked my golf ball on the golf course to clean it. You know how many pesticides are on that golf ball? You know what I've put in my body over 35 years on this earth?
And no extra.
Happily consume a chilled Mondo once Mark Dykton actually is a man of his word and responds to the bet that was made. Again, we do not need to rehash this for 3 hours. I'm disappointed by two things. Mark not being a man of his word and Mark going behind my back to text my wife.
I'm disappointed that I don't own a DeLorean to go back in time to buy you these discontinued drinks.
See, he said innocently enough that he contacted your wife because you had said your mother-in-law had them, and so he was trying to get a direct line on them.
Contact my wife sounds like he wrote her a letter in the mail. He texted her behind my back is what he did.
Wow. No, and it was right in front of your face. You just didn't see it behind the desk.
All right, so anyway, we'll put that to bed. We'll wait for the Mondo to arrive if it ever does. Legends Golf Course, you played here before, Kevin. You and I played here before when we used to take listeners. We got to start that next year. We'll take a listener golf in every month next year.
Jeff, that was a glorious day. You, me, and Kirk, if I remember correctly, over here on the Creek 9, 27 holes at the lovely Legends property down here in Franklin, Indiana. Robert Montgomery Knight's favorite course, if I'm not mistaken, back in the day. Used to host the state finals. So as much as my memories with you and Kirk were great, I'll probably have to put the state final memory slightly above that. So, yes, awesome place. Really happy to have everybody come out here. Again, 10:30 we'll get things started. Can't wait. Cannot wait. Looks like a beautiful day. And, boy, we got a full one tonight. James Boyd, we're going to have to brew the midnight oil a little bit here.
Definitely. I mean, that's what you sign up for when you do these types of shows and choose this career. But I am excited to finally see some actual real football. I think I have an article coming out later today, and the first literal sentence is we're all skeptics and haters this time of year. Because every time a player that's not established has a pretty good day in training camp, like A.D. Mitchell had in the joint practice against the Ravens, the first thing someone is going to say is, well, it's not a real game. And honestly, I might be a hater myself because I think that often when it comes to players who have to prove themselves. And so I have a list of players coming out later today of who I think has the most to gain or lose for that matter throughout the preseason. And on top of that, at least give some valid, some credit to perhaps a few players who might be breaking out for the Colts this year.
It's going to be fun to watch. Just keep in mind, I think the teams probably get more information on a lot of their players from those joint practices because, as we've talked about for years and years and years, and most people know, you come out tonight, and if you're the quarterback, for example, say Anthony Richardson, that first quarter and a half, you're going to see some really basic defenses. You know, you got to figure out, am I playing a 4-3 or 3-4, which you already know going in? Is it going to be single high safety? Is it going to be double safety? There's not a lot of, hey, we're going to show you a bunch of stunts and trick you and do things like that. It's, I think, order of operations is really important in a game like tonight. Can the quarterback get the play into the huddle? Can he communicate it quickly? Can he put the guys in the right spot where they're supposed to be? Make sure that the guy is in motion at the right time, all those kinds of things. So there's value to be gained from it, but it's not football at what I would call an NFL high level, Kevin.
Well, no, definitely not. 1 month from today, the Colts will play their regular season opener, but Anthony Richardson can get hit tonight for the first time in how many months?
And that makes a difference because the clock's
sadly, it makes a difference for him based off how his career arc has gone from an availability standpoint. So I think tonight matters a whole lot for Anthony Richardson. I think tonight, in the small sample size, we'll see Daniel Jones. I think there's some specific things you're looking to see out of each of them. I think it'd be beneficial if Spencer Schrader got a kick or two from longer distance tonight. Again, you only have 3 of these moments where it is the closest thing you get to real in the month of August. So, I think there's a lot of things we can go to in terms of items to watch for tonight. Again, 7 o'clock tonight. You can hear that, obviously, on our airwaves. That is Matt Taylor, Charles Arbuckle from Baltimore, and then locally Fox 59, Joe Wright sliding into the TV booth with the one and only Greg Rakestraw.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I always like to look for, especially for individual players and their position battles, like how do they approach the game, their aggressiveness, does the motor never stop? Some of these guys on special teams that just keep going and going and going and find a way to make plays. So, yeah, there is value. I don't mean to say that there's not value because it is as close as you can get at this point in time, but everybody just has to show up, make sure they do for individuals, James, it's make sure you show up, do your job exactly the way you're supposed to do it, and do it in the best possible way that you can with a high motor.
James just killed the bug.
He did. And then what I like, though, is he's cleaning up after himself.
7:07 in the morning, and, who needs insects?
But then he cleaned up after it. He didn't just kill it. He cleaned it up.
I don't know. That looks like quite the smear on the nice whatever you call these things.
Don't do this. I'm like,
beer pong tables.
I'm pretty sure this is not like ironed or anything. I don't know if
It's going to be pregame, and he's going to be Bill's Mafia style jumping onto the table later on.
Some shout on it, and make sure it gets all clean for you, Kevin. But
what did you take from the scrimmages yesterday or day before yesterday? You're out there. What do you think the team took from that?
Well, one, keep your hands up because. Obviously, someone might come off the sideline and punch you. So Nate Wiggins, I don't know what he was thinking with the Ravens. That was such a bizarre scenario because all of us were under the impression that he was involved in the play. He was not. So from what I understand, Tyler Goodson got lit up on a punt return, and it always happens that way on special teams. And you got Nate Wiggins running from the sideline to fight a dude, and that is just – I don't know if he was frustrated because – So
he came off the sideline. He wasn't even involved in the field.
Yeah, he came off the sideline. That's why he got ejected from practice. Tyler Goodson actually remained in practice. He just didn't go back into any live action, but he didn't get ejected because, honestly, he probably was defending himself. So that's number one. And then beyond that, I think it was just, the offense I thought looked pretty solid. But I will say one of the things that stood out to me, guys, is as much as I wrote about, and I probably should have mentioned it in the story, but there's so much that goes on, and I'm like, I don't want to write a book. But they had 4 false starts against the Ravens, and Shane lost his mind on the fourth one. He said some things that I can't.
It sounded that was mostly with the first unit. Correct?
Yeah, and so that to me was alarming because we've seen that kind of
early in camp.
Yeah, and it's kind of been a sporadic issue. I don't want to say it's an everyday thing, but it has popped up on a couple of days here and there. And that, to me, is just something they cannot really have happen throughout the season because they're not a team that is equipped, in my opinion, to sacrifice yards like that. Not that any team really wants to, but obviously I would trust a 2nd and 7 with Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or even C.J. Stroud more than I would trust 2nd and 7 with AR or Daniel Jones.
You got too many other questions to be worried about logistical, procedural issues for this team.
Exactly.
So, I think that is an item to keep an eye on tonight. And defensively, I think linebackers turned into the position group that has several different questions, not only at the backs of the depth chart, but the top of the depth chart right now. And I am curious to be getting clarity on the Justin Wally knee injury. If that is something that's going to keep him out for a period of time, that's not good at all. And your cornerback depth will get tested very early in the season with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle right out of the gate. So a lot of items.
Still no timeline for the other guys, Jalen Jones and Juju Brents.
Who, obviously we don't expect them to play tonight. By the way, thank you to on-site engineer Cam. He was terrific with us at Grand Park. Appreciate getting us set up here. All of our promotion staff that's in the building. It is a long day here at the Legends for them. And
they were here by 6, Kev.
Really, really appreciate that. Hell, they were mowing the greens.
Now they're squeegeeing some of the putting green and making sure that people can get out there. Now they've been here and everybody is ready to go, and I can't wait. We're going to go get some Mizuno golf clubs later on today. We'll tell you about that. We have a closest to the pen. We've got what are you going to be trying to help people with out today?
Well, am I close to the pen or my longest try? Because the longest try for me is like Greg Maddux.
I think it's closest to the pin.
Oh, I am. Close
I
to the pen?
believe it's closest to the pin.
Okay.
But, David may have changed that up on you just because he likes to do that.
Well,
David Gray likes to keep things moving a little bit.
That is a curveball here. I can't wait. I love these little mini Larry O'Brien trophies. Yeah. It's like a half Disney World, half Larry O'Brien that we have here to hand out.
It's like
to our winners.
Epcot Center on a little pedestal there. I like that. Or maybe it's a golf ball. It's supposed to Epcot Center. I'm not sure.
Silent auction, correct? Or excuse me, a live auction here.
Yeah, and we'll tell you about some of those items that people can get on when they come down here. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And, we actually got our last foursome filled earlier this week. Harley D.
Oh, sure.
He thought originally he was going to have to work today, but then he and his buddies didn't. And then we had one spot left, and Harley claimed that earlier.
10:30. We'll see you, Harley. Cannot wait for that.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll tell you all about sports coming up with the check down in a moment here. We got a Colts game later on tonight. Got the Fever playing on the road out in the Southwest in Phoenix tonight. We'll tell you all about it as we continue right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Down on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome into Legends Golf Club today. Side of the 93.5, 107.5 The Fan golf outing in partnership with Franciscan Health. We want to thank Franciscan Health for making today's Fan Invitational possible. It's going to be a lot of fun. Kevin Bowen just brought the golf clubs out of the trunk. He is ready to go.
I'm ready. Can I somehow take this microphone over to the putting green and just do the show from over there?
Cam, can we get him a wireless mic? Is there any way to just get him on the course and get going?
Man, I could get 9 done by the time this show ends. Shout out to the great Ted Bishop. Just
saw
here.
Ted.
So he's running the show here at the Legends, and we get started a little after 10 a.m.
Ted's a legend.
And he is. J&B's got a little Papa Shot action today, right? He's got a little
big time
little hoop. And he told me yesterday there's no one in this outing. We have 100 golfers, I believe. Mm-hmm. There's no one in this outing that will outshoot him. I brought up the name of James Boyd, and he quickly said no.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll probably.
Sounds like the challenge is on.
I mean, I'll never turn down the challenge, but he probably will get me there. He can.
Oh, James, come on, man! Baltimore softened you up.
Well,
I mean, you see a couple punches get thrown by NFL players. I was definitely ducking and hiding, but
it's all those crab
this
cakes.
isn't. I'll be honest. I'll give him. That's actually a good one, Mark.
All right.
I'll give him a little grace there, but just tell him he don't want to see me in a one-on-one.
It's on. It's on.
That's all.
We're going to be out here raising money to support the incredible cancer care program at Franciscan Health, where innovation meets compassion. Later on tonight, 4 p.m. is when our coverage starts of the Indianapolis Colts, their first preseason game of the year against the Baltimore Ravens, as you mentioned a moment ago, James, in Baltimore. And, of course, kickoff comes your way just after 7 o'clock. What can we expect to see tonight, Kevin Bowen?
Should we bet on the game, guys?
Always. Is there a line right now?
You mean like actually bet or bet against each other?
It's probably minus 3.5
somebody
for
back
Baltimore.
in the studio doesn't pay up.
You've got Baltimore minus 3.5. Now, Jeff, remember who's playing their starters and who's not.
The Colts are, so maybe that gets back down to a pick'em game. I'm not sure.
The Colts favored by 5.5 tonight.
There you
in
go.
Baltimore there. So
jump on that.
You might be all over the Ravens based off that. I want to see Anthony Richardson be boring. I want him to sustain drives. I want him to string together some consistent football and the underneath accuracy match what we've seen so far. I know he can throw it down the field. I know he can create some big plays. But, last year in that Cincinnati game, it was very Jekyll and Hyde in the preseason. Can he just be steadier? And then for Daniel Jones, I'd say, honestly, the reverse. Can you actually throw it down the field? We have yet to see much, if at all, here in the preseason. So, again, Richardson for a quarter and a half, it sounds like. Daniel Jones for the rest of the first half. But, James, those are a couple items that I would like to see.
James, what do we know about relative health for the Colts? Any updates after the practice the other day?
Nope. They don't have to give us updates when it's not a regular season game or a preseason game or something like that. I'm sorry, for the regular season. And so they'll just stay coy until we see who's out there.
All right. That's one of 3 NFL games on the docket tonight. The others will be the Bengals at the Eagles. That one starts at 7:30 tonight, and later on the Raiders take on the Seahawks. If you're interested in any of those other teams, you'll be able to watch the Colts game on Fox 59, right, Kev?
Yes, yeah, NFL Network league-wide, but yeah, Fox 59 here from or I should say nationwide, but Fox 59 from a local standpoint. Matt Taylor, Greg Rakestraw, Joe writes, Matt Taylor, Charles Arbuckle on our airwaves.
All right, and also later on tonight, late, right after the Colts get done probably, the Fever take on the Mercury. That one starts at 10 p.m. out in the desert. The Fever had their 4-game winning streak snapped because it was a 5-game winning streak snapped the other night. They'll try to get back on it tonight in Phoenix. Still no Caitlin Clark. Still no timetable for her return.
Exactly, and they've been playing pretty well without her. Obviously, you want her to get back sooner rather than later, but at this point, I have no idea when she'll return. And in the meantime, you got to continue to try to tread some water here. Phoenix Mercury, got some history there just a little bit between the two teams, and so I'm excited to see that matchup later today.
All right, Major League Baseball yesterday. The bet may have been won for you already, Kevin, but the day did not belong to us yesterday. The Chicago Cubs got the Reds by a score of 6-1, and the shocking development in that one is probably the day after melting down, the bullpen came through. Mark Dykton and Andrew Kittredge, I believe, had an immaculate inning, did he not?
What a way to, go out. After getting shelled the night before, you have an immaculate inning. Big deal. Glad they didn't get swept, but that was a bad series for the Cubs.
See, this is a typical Cubs fan. I try to give him some sunshine and goes right back into the gutter. That's just how it goes.
Did we get a no-no broken up in the 9th yesterday via Homer? Did I see that?
Which game? I did not see that.
I thought it was Juan Soto for the Mets broke up a no-no in the 9th. I want to say it was the Guardians. Maybe we'll ask the fighting Nate Atkins when he joins us at 9 o'clock. He's a Guardians fan here. But
well, yeah, Gavin Williams, 8 2/3, gave up just the one hit.
Two outs, or did he?
I don't know. He worked 8 2/3.
Oh,
so I did not see the game last night. I was trying to get some sleep before getting out of here at 5:30 in the morning.
I did see that Shohei had his 1,000th hit on a home run, which is the most Shohei thing ever.
Didn't Schwarber do that a couple weeks ago?
Honestly, wouldn't surprise me. He's been balling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talk about quietly having one of the better careers of my era. Man, that guy, he went from being like kind of like a fun story to wait a second. He's actually a really good player.
Yeah. Also last night, the St. Louis Cardinals got a win. They beat the Dodgers by a score of 5-3. And good news going back to the NFL for George Kittle. The league says players can use smelling salts and such things as long as they provide it themselves. The team cannot provide those things for him.
Yeah, so from what I've gathered, and I believe Albert Breer might have put out a tweet about this yesterday, and he's a national NFL reporter for Sports Illustrated. And the thinking, at least in him talking to a doctor about this, is that smelling salts can help you, I guess, diminish concussion symptoms. And so in theory, I guess the implication there would be like the NFL doesn't want to be the supplier of what you use to basically play through a concussion or to diminish a concussion's reaction or symptoms. And so we know the NFL and their relationship with concussions and how they've tried to cover up things. And this has all been, documented. So if that is the case, that's pretty, damning for the NFL, but also very on brand to try to protect their product.
Also, yesterday, some news for the Rams. Kyron Williams gets a 3-year extension worth up to $33 million. Their quarterback, Matt Stafford, saying he's got a maintenance issue with a disc in his back, but they gave him an epidural? That doesn't sound like maintenance to me, does it?
I just don't trust anybody with back injuries. Man. I mean, he's older, quarterback. They're going to keep stringing us along like it's fine, Kevin, but I don't think it's fine at all.
Yeah, now I want to say they have Houston week 1, and I think the Colts play them week 4. So, again, we're a month away from the regular season opener. Actually, today, September 7th, is that first Sunday, but just some items to keep an eye out on us.
All right, once again, we are out at Legends Golf Course today. We've teamed up with Franciscan Health for the Fan Invitational. Everybody out here going to get free skin cancer screenings on the course today. That's brought to you by the Franciscan Health Cancer Center. And we'll be telling you about our fine friends at Franciscan and all the great things that they do to keep you up and running and healthy all day long. And, Kevin, you've got one more thing.
Yeah, we should mention Indiana down in Puerto Rico, the Darren DeVries era underway from obviously an exhibition standpoint there. Their leading scorer in Game 1, actually an Indiana kid, Trent Sisley. I know, very highly ranked recruit, went to Montverde Academy for his final year here, leaving Heritage Hills, but he stayed committed to Darren DeVries. He had 21 off the bench for them, so again, Indiana down in San Juan. We had Jeff Rabjohns on yesterday, and they will play 2 more games down there before returning. They shot 33 three-pointers last night. I get that it is against competition that obviously is nowhere near legit college basketball, but if that number even hovers around that level, talk about a far cry from the Mike Woodson era.
We'll see how things develop for the Hoosiers over the next couple of months. We'll also talk about the Colts and their first preseason game tonight in Baltimore. We'll do that next. Give us a call if you want to get in on that, 239-1070, as they stripe it up and get some actual real NFL officials on the field with them tonight. And we'll tell you all about it next. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Mark Dykton speaking to you and I today, James Boyd, right there. Huh?
Yeah, whenever this came on in the Boyd household growing up, it was time to clean.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, it was cleaning time.
Everybody move around and clean to the beat?
There you go.
I like it. I thought we lost Kevin Bowen for a moment there. KB was out there with his putter and a couple of golf balls and over at the putting green there. I'm just glad you came back for the Colts preview segment here.
All I know is if you're leaning, you better be cleaning, right, James Boyd?
There you go.
I learned that. Boy, how great is that clock there for the Legends? That's all. I was mesmerized by the clock. This thing is beautiful.
What kind of memories does this place bring back?
Like when you have a clock like that, don't you feel? I mean, aren't you legit?
Yes.
Honestly, I look at the first tee over here of my right shoulder and I think, how the hell did I forget my golf shoes the second day of the state finals?
No kidding.
Forgot my golf shoes. And that was back in high school when I had these just stupid Notre Dame shoes that I thought were cool. So I literally wore those. I think for it might have been the first 2 holes. Shout out to Dr. David Plager for finally bringing my golf shoes to me. So yeah, that's nice. My first memory as I look out there.
I did that once. I went to I was racing bikes. I was probably 21 years old, and there was a bike. I was living just outside of Boulder. There was a bike race in Durango, which is like a 4-hour drive. And I got down there, and I got up in the morning for the race, and I didn't have my shoes.
I've never had that happen. I did have one of my friends, though, on an AAU trip for basketball. I couldn't find my shoes in our hotel room, which I knew I had brought with me. And I was freaking out, and turns out that he put them in the freezer. So got my shoes.
It's because you're ice cold. That's why.
Yeah, I was hoping they would thaw out, by the time we got to the court. That was not a fun time. But looking back on it, it's hilarious.
When we did our golf trip earlier this year out to Oregon, the final flight was Vegas to Eugene, and this dude walks on the plane, 6'6", 330, and the only carry-on he has are a pair of what looked to be size 20 shoes.
Didn't you tell us this?
You got to check otherwise, you got to check those in.
Starting right tackle for the Saints. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. He went to Oregon State, so that's why he was flying out there.
That's awesome.
But, can you imagine that's your life, where your carry-on is literally a size 20 shoe?
And honestly,
that's it.
Those are pretty big. Can they fit underneath the seat?
I know. I'm like, man, you need the exit.
Check those in.
You need the exit row for more ways than one.
That's funny.
That is outstanding. Anyway, we're at Legends Golf Course today, teaming up with Franciscan Health, and it's the Fan Invitational, and gets underway about 10:30. Kevin, and did you figure it out with David yet? Are you hole in one? Are you long drive?
I've not.
Sure.
No, I've not figured that out. But again, thrilled to be out here. I think it'll be a fun day. Trying to make this a little bit different here, and JMV will get a little hoopage going here, so you can try and outshoot JMV. I think they'll have me posted up on a hole. I don't know if they've carried on with my Jake Query trivia idea. I feel like that could be a very much in the Jake Query world that he would absolutely love that. You get whatever.
Jake will be out here later.
3 questions right. Maybe you tee off from the red tee, something like that. 2 questions white tee. So cannot wait for today to get underway.
Taliesin Fuaga, is that who you saw on the plane?
Say that again?
Taliesin Fuaga.
Boy, that sounded good.
Let's hope it's right.
I mean, all I know is he was big, nice dude, and had a big pair of shoes.
It says it didn't say where he went to school here. I'm looking. But
Oregon
anyway.
State is what he told us.
He's from Tacoma, Washington, and he did go to Oregon State, so that was your guy right there. Fuaga. There you go. Checking in his own shoes. Later on tonight, the Indianapolis Colts, of course, taking on the Baltimore Ravens. And we know, as you pointed out a moment ago in the check down, Kevin, that the Ravens will not be playing their starters for the most part. Certainly not Lamar Jackson and probably not Mark Andrews or, I don't know, is Isaiah Likely even going to play tonight for them?
I believe he's hurt, if I'm not mistaken. Kyle Hamilton
he's
did
definitely not playing. I walked past him.
What's he got going on? I did not hear that. What's he got going on?
He just, I believe, had foot surgery or ankle surgery, but he's in a boot.
James, which Colts offensive starters do you think we will not see? I think Jonathan Taylor's probably obvious.
Yeah.
But do we see Quentin Nelson? Do we see Michael Pittman Jr.? Do we see Bernard Ryman?
I do wonder about that because does that skew the evaluation of the quarterback if the line play isn't what you would expect it to be during the regular season? I wonder about the offensive line. I also wonder about the wide receivers to a certain extent too. I would expect A.D. Mitchell to play. He needs the reps. But a guy like Michael Pittman Jr., do you rest him? Because he is more of like that possession, physical receiver. Why put him out there in harm's way if you don't really need to and he has nothing to prove? I think about the same thing when it comes to Alec Pierce to a certain degree. So we'll see how they divvy it up. Shane Steichen didn't really get into it throughout his post-practice interview in Baltimore.
It's interesting. If you look at the 53-man or at least the depth chart at this point in time, Do we have a lot of depth chart position battles? We talked about linebacker. Obviously, the quarterback thing is going on, but really across the board, what are we looking at?
Well, I think center, you've seen Tanner Bortolini start to take the lead there over Danny Pinter. Does that continue in the full padded, of course? Finally seeing another team sessions that we have upcoming here. And I'll go back to that Justin Wally injury. I mean, if all of a sudden you're dealing with some cornerback questions, then, after Travaris Ward and after Kenny Moore II, you've got some jobs that are definitely up for grabs, and those are big jobs. I mean, those are important jobs. I mean, Lou Anarumo's made no bones about it. He doesn't really care too much about linebacker. He's going to play more defensive backs. And so, having quality depth there is vital. Again, week one, you got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle right out of the gate, and they're going to test you. And, even we've seen Ward with a couple off days here. How much is that just veteran maintenance? How much of that is a nagging groin injury? So that's a position group that, I think early on in camp, James, I felt like, what? Wow. For the first time in a while, I'm saying the Colts have some cornerback depth, but injuries have really hit it here in the last week or so. So to me, that's definitely an area that you got to keep an eye on.
So it sounds to me, too, like one of the more important things to keep an eye on is they would like that offensive line to just keep the pocket clean. And you talk about
it's every offensive line.
Well, I know it's every offensive line, but it's been a problem for the Colts, and so they need to do that. And if they're going to give Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones the best chance to succeed, they're going to have to do a better job of that. And, it's a different-looking offensive line than they had a little bit last year. So I think, to me, that's the big thing that I'll be watching tonight.
Yeah, I think their biggest thing is certainly the operational issues you talked about earlier. I think protection-wise, they've been fine. Even last year, obviously, there's some changes there up front for sure. But last year, I thought protection-wise, they were fine. There wasn't a bunch of scenarios where they're running for their lives. I mean, this isn't the 2022 offensive line we're talking about, but I definitely think operationally. And I go back to AR saying he had a cadence issue, and I wonder how much of that is it and how quickly.
Were the false starts with Anthony?
A few of them were.
Tuesday?
Yeah, a few of them were, but I can't attribute all of them to him. I want to say there was 4. There might have been 3 with AR, 2 with AR, and the rest with Daniel Jones. But either way, like I said, Shane lost his mind after one of them and said, bleep, 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 we can't allow this bleep, bleep, bleep to happen. And I was like, okay, well, that certainly is.
Which is not normal Shane.
No, he's usually relatively reserved. Now, I will say.
Even after the 4th time, can you blame the guy?
Yeah, it wasn't just.
No, I don't blame him at all, but I'm just providing some context for, you got some coaches that are bleep, bleep, bleep in every other session.
Now, I will say he had a couple bleep, bleeps after they had some good plays. He's like, oh, yeah, this is what we're supposed to be doing out here. So it went both ways, and I think overall he was pleased with the practice. I just wonder, again, operationally, when that stuff will mess you up. Because, for example, I didn't mention this in my story, but late in practice, they went through their typical 2-minute drills and things like that, and it was not good. I mean, Daniel Jones, I don't even think got in field goal range, or might be getting the quarterbacks mixed up. But then when they did get in field goal range, Spencer Schrader missed a longer field goal. I want to say it might have been, 50 yards, but he missed it wide left. It was not close. And so those types of moments, you need to be making sure you're executing when it comes to the pre-snap, adjustments and things you got to make.
All right, the boss is here. We can start now. Andrea Kara's here. Veteran move. I see she's already driving up the bidding on almost every item so far today. I know how that works. And we got some great items, which we'll list a little bit later on today. But it's going to be a lot of fun as we've teamed up with Franciscan Health for a day on the golf course, the Fan Invitational. Been looking forward to this one for a while. Big shout-out to our whole sponsors today. EA Karts is coming through. Elijah Craig, Premier Weight Loss, We Grow Hair, Kevin. A great sponsor today. Fireball Apple, Horizon League, and we'll be talking to an assistant commissioner for the Horizon League a little bit later on today. I'm looking forward to that. LD Smith Plumbing and the Indianapolis Colts pitching in today, too.
Oh,
so how
really?
about that? Thanks to them.
So who we got? The quarterbacks, Richardson, Jones, Jason Bean, Riley Leonard, and then they go PJ it over to Baltimore?
They RSVP'd. I think we're gonna get to guys that used to play like 3-4 years ago, maybe.
I think it's really vital, and again, the expectation here is the Colts will play their starters, and we'll see how many offensive starters there are against Baltimore's 2s with Anthony Richardson. So, I think if you're trying to keep score tonight, that first quarter and a half, the Colts should be the better football team, and it's starters versus backups largely. And again, with Richardson, I think what I want to see is just methodical, sustaining of drives, consistent underneath accuracy. I don't need to see the flash. I don't know. I get an A.D. Mitchell 45-yard highlight down the field would be something that, whatever, maybe leads Sports Center.
It would feed
Get me excited.
Yeah, it would
Kevin,
go viral on social media. But for his sake, it is just steadiness. And, honestly, the reverse could be said for Jones in that, when Daniel Jones gets in there, albeit for 2 series, you might want to see a little bit longer of attempts down the field. And, James, to your point, I think it's critical that Spencer Schrader gets a couple of longer kicks tonight. I know Shane loves to go for it, but I think when you get into those, 4th and 2 moments, even in the second half, I'd trot Spencer Schrader out there to see, where he is at this is a guy that has kicked 5 field goals.
Yeah, I don't trust him.
In his NFL career. So, and none of them, I believe, longer than 45 yards, if I'm not mistaken.
None of them have been for at least 50.
So I think that is an area that you look to for tonight of, okay, how do you exactly want these drives to go? Yeah, you want the first quarter and a half for the Colts to be better on the scoreboard. I think that's probably a fair statement. But if you can kind of get a little bit more in depth, I think you would love for Richardson not necessarily to have, 4 plays and 85 yards. That's obviously great. But if you could really pinpoint how the drives look, sustaining that, methodical, the boring reel. We know he's got a highlight reel. The boring reel is where Anthony Richardson needs to show signs of growth.
Let me ask you guys a question about kicker real quick. Is the Colts 2025 kicker necessarily on the roster right now? Because you don't seem convinced that Schrader's the guy.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't trust him yet. That was going to be my complete thought, just because he doesn't have the
So it's yet.
reps.
Let's say he is not great, but not terrible in the preseason, then what? Because we know guys will come available.
What would you do, Jeff? It's pretty simple. If he ain't great, what do you got to do?
You bring in guys on Tuesday.
Yeah, you got to bring guys in. So obviously you don't want to do that because you did sign him to a 2-year deal. You did sign him with the intention of him being the long-term replacement, I think, to Matt Gay, but I just don't trust him, and mainly because I haven't seen it enough. This is a very, very small sample size we're talking about. And, again, we're all standing there thinking, okay, end of practice in Baltimore. Here's a way to kind of end it on a high note, and you miss. And obviously it's a practice kick, and I'm not going to harp on it too much, but those are the moments where you wonder, have you seen enough pressure kicks to really be trusted? And that's certainly something you have to keep in mind, because the last thing you want to deal with is a kicking issue. I want to say the Colts had maybe 8 or 9 games last year that were decided by 3 points or less. And so as much as we don't really talk about kickers and don't really care about kickers until they miss, that is certainly something to keep an eye on.
I think that that's really important, because unless you're one of the top 5-6 teams that's in control most of the time, most games these days in the NFL come down to how'd you play in field goal and special teams. It can go one way. Look, it's turnovers, right? We've always known that about the NFL. Take care of the football, play well on special teams, and you're probably going to make the postseason. Does that mean you're going to be up there with the Eagles and the Chiefs? Probably not. But beyond those 4 or 5 really top teams and the few elite teams, that's what it comes down to in the NFL a lot of times.
Well, honestly, just live in the world of Colts-Ravens the last couple of years. Lamar Jackson in both of those games in Baltimore went to overtime.
Yeah.
And kicking was a huge deal in both of those games. Matt Gay single-handedly won the Colts that game.
That's the one. He had like 4 50-yarders.
From, north of 50. So,
it was like an NFL record.
Yeah, that's something to keep an on. Do you guys see J.W. Marriott? It's got a little Colts signage going up.
It's that time.
It looks like it's going to be filled out more, Kevin. I saw the picture that you posted, unless that's just like the one little part they're going to stick up there. But I think somebody's face was cut off.
Yeah, I'm guessing, and double-check me on this, the 4 people on the side of Lucas Oil Stadium, is it Buckner, Jonathan Taylor, Kenny Moore, Quentin Nelson?
Yes.
Those are the last 4 that I saw.
Yes, that's accurate. I saw that this morning. That is right.
I've not been by there.
Did you drive by the JW this morning, Mark?
Yes, it's not completed yet, but yes.
Okay. So I'd assume Buckner would be the 4th. For those that missed it, it says basically for the city on top, for the boss underneath that, obviously Jim Irsay. Yeah. And right now, the picture currently is Taylor, Kenny, and Quentin Nelson, and then underneath that for the shoe and the Jim Irsay signature that you have seen. So, yeah, I'd assume Buckner would be the 4th on that.
Yeah, it's tough not to have a
So let me ask you guys, who would be, right now, if you had to vote, who would be the face of the franchise right now?
Well, if you go off of that building, it's Jonathan Taylor, because he's front and center, and he's in the middle of the picture.
That's what I would say. He or Buckner, right?
I'd say Blue.
Well, he's consistent.
I was going to say, honestly, that's probably a good answer.
He's consistent.
The fact that you can't name a quarterback is pretty
I mean, who's the last quarterback to be on the side of Lucas Oil Stadium? Did Rivers get it for a year during COVID?
I don't think
Rivers
so.
might have gotten a little bit. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look.
I mean, seriously,
Andrew Luck.
Like,
I'm legitimately asking that.
I have no idea.
It's never a good sign when you got to go back 6-7 years to find your quarterback.
It's got to be Andrew Luck, right?
Instead of Lucas Oil Stadium. Yeah, face of the franchise. Yeah, I don't know. Probably, I guess Taylor. I don't know. Maybe Nelson.
Yeah. It'd be one of three, right? It'd be Taylor, Nelson, or Buckner, right?
It does seem like Quentin Nelson, and this has been said during camp, and I think it was a storyline a little bit in Baltimore, James, on Tuesday. So I'll let you expand on this, but I do think Quentin Nelson, he's definitely not the most like vocal, in a media setting
he loves
by any
talking
means.
to me after games.
But it does seem like he has tried to make a very concerted effort with that locker room of we need to be some self-creators and from an energy standpoint. Yeah. And, I'm not breaking any news here. You watch Quentin Nelson play football, oftentimes he's one of the first ones down the field, congratulating guys, things like that. So it just seems like it's a little bit more emphasized from Nelson this season.
It certainly seems that way. I do want to add, me and Quentin Nelson have a great relationship. I'm going to ask him to be in a TikTok later this season to see how that goes over. Maybe after a win.
Can you please warn me of this? So either I can watch it happen, or
you're going to be the one filming it.
Or I can move to the other side of the locker room.
I was like, this TikTok might be a murder stream if depending on the day. But no, I do think that he's made a bigger effort to be a little bit more vocal with his leadership because he's been a great leader from what I understand in the locker room from like a follow me example. But maybe you need a bit more of that when there's been that instability at quarterback. And so even out in Baltimore, anytime anybody made a play, he's one of the first ones to be yelling, screaming, laughing, jumping, whatever, and also handling business. And so I think that Quentin Nelson is a huge part of that equation when it comes to giving guys confidence. And so it's obviously rubbing off on the other guys. And I think they're taking heed to what he has to say because we're talking about most likely, if he keeps up this pace, a future Hall of Famer. Also, just in line with being the team leader, remember that day last week when Grover Stewart does a little extra with JT, who was the first guy over there to say hi to Grover Stewart, like, hey, don't be doing that stuff. Well, I think
first
part of that
guy
also has to do with size.
It is, but he was there quickly. I mean, immediately he was there.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I think that's more of a size
because it was nowhere near where he was to begin with, is my point.
Yeah.
He got there in a hurry. And he's always been kind of a quiet team leader. He's always to me, it feels like he's always been that guy. So, yeah, offensive line is definitely something that I'm going to be looking forward tonight. And, again, just guys' individual efforts. Are you where you're supposed to be? Are you there on time? Are you playing as hard as you can? Are you winning your individual battles? That's really all guys can do tonight is just win their individual battles and be in the right place at the right time.
Do we get any defensive starters out there?
That's a good question because
numbers-wise, they got to have a few, don't they? Maybe?
I mean, number-wise, you could just play all the – we got 90 guys on the roster. You don't have to play your starting 11.
Yeah.
But, obviously, we're not going to get Franklin. We're probably not going to get Buckner. I assume Ward and Kenny Moore would be no's. But, do you get Cam Bynum?
Yeah.
Do you get Latu?
I think Latu needs the reps. I need Cam Bynum out
Would
there.
Would he pay?
Well.
Some of those
Honestly,
names.
I know Javarius Ward's been kind of –
because Shane wasn't as committal to the defense.
No.
And talking about, his urgency wasn't there. And, again, you are playing a new defense.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 series for those guys?
But even then –
just get out
That's probably what I would do, but that didn't sound like Shane.
Yeah, even then Cam Bynum was saying they're not showing much as is. And so do you weight the joint practices a little bit more than that? And so it's something to keep an eye on for sure. I think another person to keep an eye on, too, as far as positions go, is Jalen Carlisle. He's been out with the injury. I don't know if he probably – I wouldn't expect him to play tonight. But in his absence, Cameron McGrone, I think, has made some pretty good plays.
Yes, that is an open starting battle.
Yeah, linebacker spot. I know we talked about that earlier, but I think that he has a legitimate chance to supplant Jalen Carlisle as the quote-unquote starter, mainly because Carlisle himself has been through some injury issues last year, and he's been banged up this spring and summer as well.
Yeah, and – you take a look at some of those linebackers. Obviously, Zaire Franklin is just coming back. He had an ankle. Alubi, what's the story on him with the ankle?
He's a little further on the depth chart. I think he's he's a name that, if you'd have told me at the start of the year, hey, Jalen Carlisle might not start, Shagun Alubi would probably be a name that I would have said, oh, he's starting. Yeah, but he's not. I mean, he's been passed up by Cameron McGrone, the LC guy. Austin Ajaki, who else am I missing? Oh, Joe Bocci.
Yeah.
As well. By the way, I'm seeing
Jeff's question real quick. He hasn't been hurt for a while. He was out there practicing in the joint practice.
I'm seeing on this list here, 12A is the Fireball team. Should the beverage cart just tail the Fireball team?
Yes. Or maybe the Fireball team should just tail the The other way around. Yeah, see?
Yeah, we have
already.
members.
We got early risers.
Are they already here?
Early arrivers.
Yeah.
They're like,
oh my gosh.
they're like, where's the
Unbelievable.
fireball cart? Let's go.
Pancake sausage and
Officially at
fireball on ice.
7:54. They want their fireballs, man. Let's
Unreal.
go.
By the way, shout out to Carlton Mills over here. The basketball hoop looks outstanding. It's currently getting set up.
Indian thing ever.
Right?
So James Boyd, while I head to the putting green, you probably head over to the hoop down there?
Yeah, I should have brought my basketball.
Although I do want to point out, one of the guys that's already in line for the fireball is in full New England Patriots gear today, and I'm a little concerned with that right now.
You know what?
I'm a little concerned with that.
I like somebody that walks into enemy territory though, like very proudly wearing their
Well,
stuff.
if I remember,
respect.
if I remember correctly, there is a lake by the 12th green, so maybe we just give him one of those.
Why would you remember that, Kevin? Do you have any experience with that lake?
There are some highs here, but there are also some lows.
Are you going to be
here.
looking for any golf balls when you get back over there? Or?
At the Legends Golf Course?
This is one of the darkest days in Boston sports history.
Isn't every day?
Thank you, Mark.
One of the darkest days.
By the way,
in
Mark,
Boston
that was some
sports
lovely Caddyshack to introduce the show today.
Thank you.
He always does a great job. We are hanging out at the Fan Invitational along with our friends at Franciscan Health. We'll tell you all about that in a minute. It is a gorgeous, perfect day for golf at Legends Golf Club. We'll tell you all about it next on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
This is the Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
Not only was it long, but it was deep and wide. People excited.
If you've ever looked down and thought, wow, this looks heinous.
I got to see him come out of the shower.
The Miles Turner stuff just smacked me right in the forehead.
Mark Dykton, pull it out.
Probably think of wood back in COVID.
I don't get this as much anymore. In fact, I don't get it at all anymore. I kind of miss it.
Can I move it and flick it? Maybe I'll make it work.
That's a big one, James.
I'm proud that you grabbed a banana on the way out, KB.
You could still see him like flexing it, messing with it, rubbing it, and you know it's going to be more sore the next day.
I don't know. I like the dad bod, man.
Mark is trying to get a winner, but I'm talking about wieners.
It's like dicks on steroids.
He is so proud of himself every time he plays that. Is he not, James Boyd? He is so proud of himself when he puts that thing together.
I said these words, and he used them against me.
I'm just showcasing the show. Big station event. Want to make sure we're showcasing the highlights of the show.
Yes, this is me in my best form.
It's the first day of school, and that's what Mark is giving people on the first day of school right there.
You know
Kids
what?
are in the car again. We're good to go. And there he is.
This is how I grew up, Mark. I respect it.
Yeah. Just talked to my son. He's have his first day at school today, so he's good to go. They have summer homework now. Do you guys remember having homework over the summer?
Remember
So you
having
have to go
summer
back?
reading, and I would just cliff note it.
Yeah, everybody did summer reading.
Spark
but
noted. Is that it? Not cliff note.
he had all these
Spark noted,
packages
right?
for science and math
No.
and physics and everything. that
You
he
tell
had to
those
finish over
you
the
tell
game.
those teachers to kick rocks. You give me homework on summer vacation. The hell out of here.
Well, you got to remember, Jeff's kids are geniuses. So
Yeah,
they're probably
right.
going to be going, save the world.
I was
one
over
day.
there getting a little look at the basketball hoop we got set up here. Thank you.
Oh,
to
did you go over there?
Carlton. Yeah, and so I missed it, but I just got a text from a listener saying
Carlton
that
is giving us that.
was the best opening ever. Mark, did I miss something there?
Is that Mark Dykton texting you?
No,
Okay.
shockingly not. No, the only person Mark texts seemingly is my wife.
That's how that
Why you-
goes.
This is so crazy. I need more context than this.
No, you don't.
Oh,
It's just
my
like the
gosh.
Open. No context required. It's just how it is. We are
Always put
here.
some Mondos, Kevin. You must really love these things.
You know me, man. Loyalty ain't nothing to mess around with.
This is true.
They haven't made these since 2022, James.
Yeah, they don't exist. They literally do not make them. And then Maddie had said, no, he's mistaken. It was Kool-Aids that he drank. So he's describing it wrong.
Dang.
So that was the
Dang.
issue.
Get
So
your household in order,
Yeah,
Kevin.
we litigated
Make sure
that
you're
all
on the
day.
same page with the lies.
We litigated all that yesterday, and we'll just wait and see if any show up by the end of the week. In the meantime, we are hanging out here with our friends at Franciscan Health for the Fan Invitational Golf Tournament. Everybody that's going to be out here gets a free skin cancer screening on the course today from Franciscan Healthcare Center. They offer multidisciplinary programs for breast, lung, prostate, melanoma, and more, tailored for every patient's needs. And also, lunch today, gentlemen. You were asking about this, James. Lunch today brought to you by the legendary Kitchen Food Truck, and we're powered all day by Zinc Distributing, our beverage sponsor. So there you go, Kevin, but not until 10:01, okay?
Well,
10:01.
with my diet, usually lunch is pretty much 10:01 for me with waking up early. I saw we got announced yesterday our CBS cruise for the Colts early in the season.
A lot of Spiro Adidas.
Shockingly, no Spiro. You'll go Andrew Catalan and that crew week one. That's with Charles Davis. I always enjoy hearing Charles Davis. So that's Colts Dolphins. If you fast forward to week 3, you get Tom McCarthy and Ross Tucker.
I like
We've
Tom
had
McCarthy.
Ross Tucker
Yeah.
on these airwaves on this show before. That's Colts Titans. And how about week 2? Little Kevin Harlan action. Colts Broncos week 2, 4:05 game. The Colts oddly have I think a few of those 4 o'clock games this year.
I know, and I wanted to square up with the
At
commissioner.
home.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Colts Broncos is one of them. So yes, it will be Kevin Harlan and of course Indiana's own Trent Green. I don't know. I feel like it's been a little bit since Kevin Harlan called Colts games, let alone consistent Colts.
Well,
games.
usually Kevin Harlan's on a game of significance, so that's probably why there haven't been
Is
a ton
Colts
of Colts.
Broncos of significance? It was late last season.
I think that they're one of those teams of the moment. You know, at the end of the year last year, Sean Payton trying to turn things around there. Bo Nix was everybody's kind of surprise rookie of last year. So they've got a little juice there. And who knows? You know, maybe if Anthony Richardson starts playing well, maybe you get two young, exciting quarterbacks going off against one another.
Obviously, we'll talk a lot about the Colts here on this Thursday morning. But, James, I did want to give you a chance to hit on, because I know we played the audio yesterday, but Rick Carlisle's appearance with Caitlin Cooper, who, again, she does just unbelievable work at a beyond Ivy League graduate level oftentimes. And it's why Rick Carlisle, I think, was so willing to go on the podcast and say the things that he did about Caitlin's work and the Pacers.
Yeah, he's never praised me like that.
Fans, yeah. Mark, Can you clip that audio that we have from Rick? But the Benedict Mathurin comments, or just anything in general that maybe stood out. It does sound like Mathurin is going to be that starting two guard. I think when he explained that, he threw in some caveats of like what he wants to see from Mathurin. And then I would say the other thing that stood out to me is just how much they know is going to be on the plate of Andrew Nembhard and how conscious they need to be about putting too much on his plate. So I'll leave it pretty open-ended. Anything that Rick said stand out to you?
Honestly, Mark, can you play it just to run it back real quick to refresh the list?
Sure. Which one do you want first?
I think we have both Mathurin and the Nembhard one.
Let's do the Mathurin.
Okay. There you go.
And I'll be real honest. This is a part of Ben Mathurin's game that we keep talking to him about, and he's a guy that is just a natural scorer. I mean, you put him in a rat game with a bunch of switching and a bunch of physical stuff, and the guy's going to go find 18 points and he's going to shoot 7 free throws at least. But the pure elements of the passing and the quick decisions and stuff like that are things that he's gradually getting, and he's going to get there. And I think, this year, right now, and I'll break the news right here. I'm projecting him as our starter at 2 this year. I think, on day one, and I told him this, I was on the phone with him and his agent 4 days ago. And I said, you're going to be with the starters on day one. It's your job to lose.
So that's what Rick Carlisle had to say with Caitlin Cooper there. I don't think it's a huge surprise to anybody, but it's nice to hear him say it.
Yeah, so to answer Kevin's question, what stood out to me is just the decision-making part. He mentioned how easy it is for him to score, get to the free throw line, get downhill, do all the things that honestly are the hallmarks of his game, but can you do the other stuff good enough to make sure that you're helping the overall team offense? Decision-making when it comes to passing quickly, quick decisions. Those things is what kind of stood out to me about what Rick Carlisle said. But honestly, it's a little bit surprising it took that long to just confirm it. And I wonder if I'm reading too much into that, but I was thinking to myself, who else are you going to start the two guard anyways? I know it's breaking news, and he finally confirmed it. But, Kevin, did you read anything into, why it took so long?
Well, I guess two things that you just said there. One, there's no other realistic option to start at the 2.
I love Ben Shepherd.
I'm not starting Ben Shepherd for 82 nights out of the year.
Yeah.
So that would be my first answer. Now, why did it take so long? I mean, it is the offseason. It's not like there's media availabilities.
So I mean, he came right out and said, okay, Nembhard, this is going to be his role next year. And others, even with center, he's like, hey, we'll do it by committee. With the two guard, it was always everyone was kind of walking on eggshells to say, okay, this is going to be our dude.
Yeah, honestly, I think a lot of it came from Chad Buchanan on with John a couple weeks ago, where Chad didn't want to go there. You know, I forget his exact words, but I think he said there will be some sort of competition for that, and that might just be Chad saying, hey, I'm the president, GM, whatever you want to call me. I'm not going to make coaching decisions out loud there. I did have to laugh at Rick Carlisle saying that Benedict Mathurin would score 18 in a rat game. How would you describe a rat basketball game?
Gym rats. Just showing up on a Saturday morning.
So these are the JMVers out there? These are the James Boyds out there?
I don't think it's necessarily
I think high-level gym rats, right?
When I hear rat game, I think it's just like an ugly one. That's kind of how I would describe
Honestly,
it.
Game 7 was kind of ugly.
Yeah, but he can go out there and still fill it up.
Yeah, he had north of 20 there. Again, I thought that stood out. And then the Nembhard stuff. And, again, Jeff and I hit on this a little bit yesterday, James, but to kind of give you an opportunity of, there are not, I would argue, and feel free to point one out to me, how many lead ball handlers in the league are also asked to defend the opposing team's best player? Trae Young is not asked to do that.
Yeah.
John Moran is not asked to do that. Jalen Brunson is not asked to do that.
Yeah.
Andrew Nembhard
will not be asked to do that next year.
But on paper, he should be,
Right.
If you kind of hear me out on that, because he is probably your best perimeter defender. I get why you don't want to put that much on his plate. And I thought Rick pointed out really well to Caitlin of like, hey, how many times has Tyrese been in foul trouble? Very little.
Yeah.
How many times has Nembhard been in foul trouble?
Because he's active and he's defending all the time.
So you do have to watch for that. Again, 82 nights out of the year. He did mention one thing, maybe keep Nembhard's minutes a little bit more, kind of just north of 30. Obviously, that means McConnell will play a big role.
Yeah.
And then he did throw out the names of Cam Jones and Ray J. Dennis as a third point guard. Again, I don't think you have that nightly, but you are one injury. And unfortunately, Nembhard has had a little bit of injuries. You are one, 5-7 game absence away from those guys having a role for you.
Pretty interesting to hear Rick talking. It's nice to hear him again in the summertime after what has been a crazy, crazy couple of months going all the way back to Game 7.
What do you think Rick Carlisle does during the summer?
Plays piano, from what I understand. If I listen to you guys.
Flies planes,
plays piano, goes on Caitlin Cooper's
You think
podcast.
he's golfing at all?
Is he a golfer? Do you remember him golfing at the Pacers golf tournament?
I could have sworn.
So I could see him doing a lot of
He told me at one point in his life he might have been sniffing a little scratch.
I was going to say that. Would that surprise you, Kevin?
No.
I met his daughter once. I was leaving a Pacers press conference or something, and car pulls out of the practice lot, and he rolls the windows down, and he goes, "James, have you met my wife and my daughter?" And I'm like, "Of course not, Rick. I never see them." But this was a couple years ago.
How great that'd be if you're like, "Oh, Donna, Abby, great to see you guys."
I know, and I think I told Abby because Abby has a TikTok, and this was years ago. It might not even be up there anymore, but she did a TikTok with Rick, one of the dancing ones, and I told her, I was like, they make the playoffs, this upcoming season, I need you to do a TikTok with your dad. And so I just wonder in the back of my mind, had they won Game 7, would I have seen the greatness of, Rick Carlisle doing the young jock, for example. It's going down, Kevin. Things we will never know because of, the basketball gods robbing us of an Achilles. But
maybe that's the first question you lead off with if Rick joins us again coming up this season.
No chance, no chance. I would like him to keep coming on the show. I think that he would certainly might shoot me a text, which is not what he usually does, which would be very disparaging at that point.
I want to see the faces of those guys.
That's basically what that text would be.
I do.
That was great, Mark.
I was talking to some folks yesterday. I believe towards the end of next week we should get our NBA schedule released too.
Nice.
Which will be kind of interesting. And here's
Does
one
that
question.
mean we get Christmas games early? Because I'm standing by it. Pacers, Bucks, noon, Christmas game. Miles Turner, first game back in Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
I would love it, but I'm
you
just
still
not
get
sure.
Giannis. It's noon
I'll
on
believe
Christmas.
it when I see it.
I know, but So
don't
anybody
trust
in
the
Indiana
NBA.
feel you're going to get respected?
Yeah.
Do Pacers fans want that?
Yeah, we would have put you guys on, except now you're a different team.
Like, do you want the Christmas game?
No, I kind of want them to pound rocks at this point in time. The NBA.
I'm
never
always
needed us
torn on
before.
like how much fans.
Wait, what beef you got with the NBA? They just went to Game 7 in the finals. What happened?
It'd be nice to see them give some love to the Pacers at some point. That's all.
Right, and so why are you talking the pound?
Because I hold grudges, James. That's why.
I'm trying to figure.
You think you're the only petty guy here?
What is the beef?
Wait, you're the king of petty. Come on.
I'm just confused. What is the beef?
The NBA can't control who gets to Game 7 of the NBA playoffs. They can control how often they put teams on national television, something they haven't done a whole lot of with the Indiana Pacers previous to this year.
Right, and I'm telling you right now, if I'm in the room and they told me Halliburton tore his Achilles, I'd be like, well, there goes a couple of your national games.
So you're a Pacers season ticket holder. Noon Christmas game. You want that or?
I'd prefer not.
Really?
Yeah. I'd prefer to just have my Christmas and then go back to my regularly scheduled broadcast day.
Nah, bump that.
You don't think your sons would enjoy
Give me the hoops.
that as a Christmas present?
Can't play that on your computer. Probably not.
What? Oh, no. Wait. All right,
I'm talking about
I need
the kids
both your
here,
sons. I got to get my number because we got to get this straight now. This is Indiana. This is Hoops Central.
Well, we go to plenty of games, but
no.
Christmas is Christmas.
Christmas is
Christmas is Christmas.
Oh my! Unless you volunteer at a food pantry, you got to be at the game. Okay.
Wow.
Book me. Okay. I'll call Adam Silver and I can get this all.
I'm gonna let you buy tickets for Grant for Christmas.
Ain't
so
no
you can take him
buying
to a
nothing.
game.
Pop's
man.
got it.
Yeah.
He went to summer school or summer camp in Oxford. We can get some tickets. We'll be all right. But no, in all seriousness, I would honestly love a Christmas game with all of that involved, the storylines. I'm just not sure that the NBA would lean too far into it. Sometimes I feel like I get into my bubble here in Indiana and everything matters so much, which it does, obviously, to our area. But I still feel like, on a national scale, it might be like Halliburton's not in there. Whoop-de-doo.
See, I kind of feel like they've never wanted us for Christmas Day games. Why now? Like, just don't bother me.
Fair enough.
That's where I'm coming from.
That's how you don't get asked to do them ever again, though.
Right. I'm like, you gotta.
Yeah, but I've already moved on. You're acting like this matters.
I ain't moved
to me.
on. I still want. Hey, girl, if you love me, if you like me, holla at me.
You ever notice, one way or another, we always learn a little bit more about James Boyd every day. Man.
Hey, look,
I like it.
I ain't never turning down a good time now.
Look, I would go if it's an attractive matchup. Yeah, I would go on a Christmas Day. But at this point in time, I've gotten used to having my Christmas with my family. I'm okay with that.
Hey, you stream it, and I'll be there in person. I'll FaceTime you and the kids.
Yeah, you get a little 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Christmas with the fam. You head down to Cambridge Fieldhouse. You're back at home by 4 o'clock.
That's one great thing about going to sports here in Indianapolis is you're always home fairly early. I love that.
I will say this, though.
And that's a good thing about this golf outing. We tee off at 10:30 today.
Get people out of here by 4, man.
You know what? You got the full rest of your day for you.
I was just going to say that. I'm glad that it's earlier. I want to say the other golf outings I've been to, which, by the way, for anybody listening, I ain't swinging nothing because if I swung something, it would be hitting somebody, which is not what I intend to do today.
Mark, how big is the grin on your face right now?
However,
it's always there, usually.
Okay.
On top of that, yeah, you get a chance to close it out. Kids coming home from school, Kevin, you get a chance to see them, and not have to be out here all day.
It's good stuff. We are out at Legends Golf Course today, along with Franciscan Health for the Fan Invitational, raising money to support the incredible cancer care program at Franciscan Health, where innovation meets compassion. Of course, they offer multidisciplinary programs for breast, lung, prostate, melanoma, and more, tailored to every single patient's needs. You go in there, you're going to be an individual. It's not one size fits all. They're going to take care of you. And if you're at risk for, say, colon, lung, or breast cancer, all you got to do is take one of Franciscan's online health risk assessments and get ahead of your health. We'll tell you more about that as we move along today. Kevin's going to be swinging the clubs a little bit later on today. Looking forward to that. I noticed you've already been to the putting green a couple of times.
Gosh, there's just something about putting on a dew-filled putting green that I just love.
Early morning, you can see the track of your ball. It's kind of cool.
Man.
Love that right
beautiful.
there. All right, so we got that going on today. We'll tell you more about that in a minute. In the meantime, let's check it down and let you know what's happening right here, right now.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
One of the things happening right here, right now, are the Indianapolis Colts, who wake up in Baltimore this morning, and they'll get ready for a preseason game tonight. Those who will play this evening, as the Colts and Ravens kick off at 7 o'clock. You'll hear it live right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Who will be playing tonight, James Boyd?
That is a good question. We know that Anthony Richardson will be starting, and Daniel Jones will be getting some reps in there as well, but the rest of the starters haven't really been disclosed, but I would like to see A.D. Mitchell and others out there.
Kevin, who would you like to see playing this evening?
Yeah, I got a particular item for A.D. Mitchell I want to see. We can hit on that on the other side. Yeah, obviously you can play all the hits with the quarterbacks and Mitchell there. I'd like to see a long field goal or two for Spencer Schrader. I'd like to see the depth at cornerback start to play out a little bit because, unfortunately, that has been an injury that's been banged up here. And then linebacker, shout out to the Indy product, Cam McGrone. For those watching tonight, number 59. He right now is a listed starter on the depth chart. So 56th Street has been kind to the Colts recently with Jack Doyle. We'll see if an LC Bear is out there 1 month from today when it's Colts and Dolphins.
One more quick question. You had a great story the other day about undrafted free agents trying to catch on. Is there a realistic chance we get one of those this year?
I feel like there always is with the Colts. They tend to usually get one on the roster. I believe last year it might have been Dalton Tucker, Kevin, who made the final roster as an undrafted free agent. So we'll see, but I do think that Tyler Common from Kansas actually went to Florida State. Yeah. And I think that he's someone who could possibly make the team.
Number
as like
43 for
as like a practice squad receiver. He's shown some stuff, I think, throughout camp. And the other one was Devontae Davis. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, please feel free to do so because, honestly, I could probably write that same story about 50 other guys, or not that many, but all the undrafted guys on the roster because they all have unique stories.
And those are guys. If you really want to nerd out over the undrafted class late in the game, obviously Riley Leonard will play in the second half, but number 35, Jonathan Edwards, is a long corner out of Tulane. And again, with some of these corner injuries, you might actually see Jonathan Edwards, for example, a little bit earlier in the game. So he'd be another name to keep an eye on.
And keep an eye on all those names on special teams in particular, because that's a place where guys like that can really distinguish themselves.
Yeah,
too,
I want to
James.
see more Hunter Wohler. I think that he's had a great camp so far. And I want to see DJ Giddens, the rookie running back out of Kansas State. So there are certainly some players to watch later on tonight. And I will have a full report tomorrow morning, actually, on my stock risers and fallers after tonight.
All right, we'll do that. Also this evening, the Indiana Fever will play late tonight. 10 p.m. tip. They'll be out in Phoenix to take on the Mercury. Little subtext going on in that basketball game, James Boyd. Are we going to put that storyline to bed once and for all tonight?
Probably not. I mean, there's beef forever at this point. That's how it goes.
I thought it was relatively quiet, though, when they met a couple weeks ago. Obviously, you had the Fever crowd booing, but, like, on the floor, I mean,
there wasn't much.
It wasn't
to
too much.
I mean, you had Alyssa Thomas, the fiance of DeWanna Bonner.
She was kind of chirping more crowd-wise.
Chirping to the crowds or whatever, not really towards the teams. But I think the Sophie Cunningham comment from her podcast the other day, I believe it was something along the lines of, like, send a text to your teammates, let us know what's going on. That may not have gone over well.
So that could spark something tonight?
Yeah, I think so. Because on one hand, you're probably thinking, like, you didn't really have to disclose that. But she did, and like I said, I don't mind it.
And if you want to, again, 7 o'clock tonight, it is on Fox 59 in our airwaves.
For the Colts.
That is Colts and Ravens. Then you could flip over 10 o'clock tonight for the Fever and Mercury. Wrapping up that West Coast trip, they'll try to go 3-1 on it.
All right, let's check Major League Baseball. Yesterday, the Chicago Cubs finally got something together, and even Mark doesn't want to hear about that. 6-1 was the final score there, and they had an immaculate ninth inning from Andrew Kittredge, and you weren't even happy about that, Mark Dykton. I mean, come on.
Well, I that's fine and great. I wish he didn't get shelled the night before and give up 4 runs after Shota Imanaga had a pretty spectacular
So you've not
outing.
moved on, is what you're saying.
Well, I've moved on. They need to sweep the Cardinals this weekend.
Well, speaking of the Cardinals, they beat the Dodgers 5-3.
You gotta respect it.
But that's a Cubs fan in right there, right?
It's pure passion. I love it, Mark.
Yeah, Cards beat the Dodgers by a score of 5-3 last night. Mariners over the White Sox 8-6. As far as the Indianapolis Indians are concerned, they played an afternoon game yesterday over at Victory Field. Lost by 1 to the Omaha Storm Chasers. 5-4 was the final score in that one. Kevin, anything else you want to throw in?
Yeah, IndyCar Portland
Okay.
coming up this weekend, so 3 races left there. Alex Palou can indeed clinch. He really doesn't have to do too much to clinch.
Got us to finish, right?
Absolutely dominant season for him. And yes, the Darren DeVries era, if you will, underway. Yesterday in Puerto Rico, that's starting 5 for those that care. Tayton Connerway, transfer from Troy, supposed to be a bit of a bulldog defender. Connor Enright, transfer from DePaul. Lamar Wilkerson, who will shoot it a whole lot. Last night he was 3 of 13 from 3, but he was one of the more prized Portal guys.
He shot 13 threes?
13 threes for him.
All right.
Jack it up.
Yeah, no, I understand.
How many did he make of the 13? Do we know?
3 of 13.
Yeah, 3.
From Sam Houston State. Tucker DeVries, of course, the son of Darren from West Virginia. And then Reed Bailey from Davidson. So the 5 transfers all in the starting lineup right there. Trent Sisley, 21 points off the bench. Shout out to Holiday World. Shout out to Heritage Hills.
All right. Mark, we're out here for the Fan Invitational today, but there's a bigger golf tournament going on at Chatham Hills soon. Do we have some grounds passes to give away
if that's
for
a bigger
Liv?
golf outing?
Right.
Well, if you were playing the entire 18 holes, it would make it bigger.
We've got
but you're more of an exhibition.
You might
here.
argue we got more money on the line here than they do up at Chatham Hills. These trophies are unbelievable. Look at these things. Larry O'Brien has met Disney World right here.
I like it.
Imagine. Can I kiss it?
There you go.
Gosh, this is awesome.
Man.
God, that sounded like the mail plop.
Yeah. All right. So
hey, you
one of 2 major tournaments in the area.
How
about that? One of 2 major tournaments in the area coming up. Live Golf at Chatham Hills. And if you want to go check that out, Mark, how many passes do we have to give away right here, right now?
2 pairs. So 4 tickets each, but 2 different winners.
All right, let's go. Caller 4 and caller 6.
The hell is that?
I'm going to ask James Boy. I know you're going to have to do a little bit of work during the break.
Let's do more. I'll do more work because now apparently their signal dropped out. So we'll go to break. I will take these calls, 239-1070 if you want to go to Live Golf, and the boys will be on the other side as we reset the connection. It's the Fan Morning Show, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
You got a lot, 3 of them. Indoor and outdoor concrete. That is Galaxy concrete coatings. Honestly, I'm looking down here.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Can we just get this song as the first tee walk-up today?
Yeah, I mean, all you got to do is ask.
You guys are on the green.
That
You guys are on the green. I figured this is very appropriate. You guys are out on the course. Lots of green going on. This is pretty fitting, I would say.
Look at
I
that.
like it.
Sometimes
By the
some
way,
might be on the green while on the green, if you know what I mean.
Well, and when
Mark with the bars.
when 20 past 4 rolls around, there'll be a lot of green up in the air.
Kevin, I hope you get the big stick out. You're gonna be walking the big dog today on 15.
Wow. No.
Good Lord.
You're dry. You
I thought the
people are
beverage cart didn't
disgusting.
go out till 11,
You
Jeff.
people are disgusting.
Nah.
You'll be doing you'll be helping people with a long drive contest today. How about that?
Man.
Clarification, very key there. Yeah, I got word here that long drive. I don't want to create unfair expectations. I think it's a little bit like all of a sudden you see Greg Maddux at the State Fair and you're like, hey, let's challenge him to a fastball. Like the long drive, I'm not hitting it that far.
They're gonna let you hit from the red tee.
But hopefully I can get it airborne.
We'll let you hit for the red tee. How about
for some
that?
people out here. Do we know what hole I'm doing this long drive on?
15R. 15 on the right side. 15R is what it says.
15R. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what the R means, but okay.
I don't either. That's what they told me. That's where that says right there. 15R. So that's where you're going to be right there.
All right. Well, I will be out on hole 15. That's a par 5 if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah. That's what they do. The long drives. What about you? Have you ever even swung a golf club?
I swing one every year, and we have to do that challenge with Shane Steichen. And I got it into the water this year, which was a step up for me because I believe I didn't even get off the ground.
I like it. Got it into the water. Did you hear that, Kevin? I got it into the water.
Yeah. I thought it was, it was solid.
James, something specifically for A.D. Mitchell tonight, contested catches, alligator arm moments. He won't like this, but there were times last year I watched A.D. Mitchell play football for the Colts, and I thought, ooh, boy, do we need to ask about business decisions? There were just a couple, honestly, probably more than a couple. There were, I don't know, maybe a handful is too unfair, but there was definitely several times where I felt like he had a chance to make a play, and honestly, a guy like Michael Pittman Jr., I think would have no issue in trying to make such a play.
Right.
So I think growth for him, it is just 11 on 11 moments in game settings. That's probably enough of a statement. But if I could get specific with some of the catches I'd like to see him make, it is in traffic. It's guys are coming to hit you. Even the plays he made on Tuesday, obviously they're great plays. Don't get me wrong, but he knows full well no one's taking his head off. Whereas now you get in tonight, and that possibility is there. So specifically with Mitchell, he's shown so much, and he's an unbelievable separator from opposing DBs. When those moments do arise where, hey, man, this is an NFL window, you got to make a catch, and you got to prepare to be hit. Can he do that? I think that's specifically something I want to see from number 10 tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that is his MO early on in his career is that he shies away from contact. There was a couple times last year, Kevin, where the tape is undeniable. He alligator armed it across the middle a couple of times, or maybe he didn't go as fully for the football as he should have to make the catch. And so that is the next step in his development for sure. I'm curious to see if it happens tonight. And if he shows that, then, hey, I'm on board with him having a better season, obviously, than he had last year. Maybe not 80 catches, though. 80 catches is a lot. I do want to ask him about that at this point now.
Let's go.
See, well, what is his personal goal?
I have expectations. Tell him I have expectations.
No, see, I feel like your expectations are a little a little love and not so much love.
No.
Because you told him you would have 80 catches, then you said 750 yards. That means he's going to be catching the ball for 7 yards?
That's what we need from the Colts is 7 to 10 yard catches. Do we not need that? Do we not need that?
Didn't you look up the wideouts who caught around that number?
If he's catching that,
I did.
They're going to have the worst offense.
Who are those wideouts?
There's maybe 8 or 10 of them.
Was it like Terry McLaurin?
Yeah. But I think here's the thing. The point of that comment, and I'll stand by it, the talent is there. He's just got to put it together.
He's an extremely talented player. He's extremely talented player.
But he's got that kind of talent. Can he put it together?
Well, and this is an area where, and I don't know, maybe next week when the Colts only practice, I guess Monday and Thursday, if I have that right. Next week, Monday, their final day at Grand Park against themselves, and then Thursday is that joint practice also at Grand Park, and that is the final day of Colts training camp at Westfield. But the general question of this, how do the Colts get in the playoffs this year? like when you ask that question, people obviously point to better quarterback play. People obviously point to you have a change in defensive scheme. You're going to be better on that side of the ball. Those are the two like easy answers to that question. But if you look at it, and John and I were talking about this yesterday afternoon, an area where they internally, James, feel like they are going to be much better is at the pass catcher spot.
Right.
Like Josh Downs and Alec Pierce played good football last year. They were bright spots amidst an awful passing offense. So put those to the side, Pierce and Downs.
Okay.
Go to three other names. A healthy Michael Pittman Jr., not dealing with Matthew Stafford's back.
Yeah.
Next on that list, A.D. Mitchell showing real growth from year 1 to year 2. And then go to third on that list, Tyler Warren in a Colts uniform. So when you think about pass catcher, it's been such an underwhelming group for the past X amount of years. But if you look at that on paper, Downs and Pierce are Downs and Pierce. Okay. Pittman healthy, Mitchell growth, Warren arrival. If you get one or two of those three, then your pass catching group should be a lot better. So again, how do the Colts make the playoffs? Yeah, quarterback play needs to be better. Sure. Defense needs to be better. Those are like the obvious bigger ones. But that pass catcher one might be third on the list, but I don't think it's something that's that far-fetched. Pittman has had kind of a quiet, I would say, camp so far, but that I don't think is that much on the back burner.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about him just because I feel like Pittman's a Sunday guy. He's not going to –
He's a rat player, to quote Rick Carlisle, right?
He's ultra
Him and
dependable.
Benedict Mather need to be in the backcourt together.
He's ultra dependable, and like you say, he'll make the tough catch. You can depend on him. I like that. What I'd like to see develop, what I think can develop, is for Anthony Richardson and a guy like A.D. Mitchell to create a little rapport where they trust each other.
Well, 80 catches worth of
this number is hilarious.
Go!
I'm looking at who had 80 catches last year.
That's what we did yesterday.
I think it's only happened twice in the franchise in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
The stat line that Jeff threw out there.
And that's what they should be shooting for.
Oh, no. Well, my only real, if you give him 80 catches, Jeff, you got to give my boy more than 750 yards. If they're doing that, they're not making the playoffs.
I think I said 750, 800 yards, something like that.
Oh, that's a dinking and dunking. They're going to lose every game.
Well, no, it's medium. Again, it's medium range passes, which has been the problem. You've got to make the 8 to 12 yard passes.
That's all their offense is, though, which is, in all seriousness, if he had that many yards for 80 catches, that would be all he's doing, their offense would be terrible. So they need some explosives there for sure. And I'm excited to see what A.D. Mitchell can do because he's talking a big game so far. And
I'm saying let's step up and get to it.
No, I'm not saying that. I appreciate you believing in him. I need somebody to believe in me like Jeff believes in A.D. Mitchell. But A.D. Mitchell in particular, I think he knows that he has to, show a bit more this year, be more consistent, and really just show some toughness. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I'm not doubting that he's a tough guy. He's played a lot of big games, played at big-time universities, but the NFL is a different beast, and he hasn't shown that just yet, but it is promising.
One of the things I like about him, and can he live up to it now, is now he's talking the talk like your wide receiver one diva right now. Is he not?
Honestly, he did that last year.
He's carrying himself that way.
He did it last year and didn't do anything in the real game.
So live up to it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking. We are out of here at Franciscan. We're asking for a great day, and we have been blessed with a beautiful day on the golf course today. We are buzzing already. People are starting to arrive and show up. About a 10:30 tee off today. 10:01, Kevin. Hang in there.
I can't have a drink till
10:01.
Are you going to crack it?
Oh, man.
9 a.m. hour?
God. Well, once he said, people are buzzing, I'm like, where are these people at?
We're hosting today. It's not carb day where we're out there as a guest. We're hosting today.
Dang.
What do you mean?
What you mean?
I'm looking right here, and I see Heaven Hill on 16B. I see Fireball on 12A.
I didn't say you couldn't. I said 10:01.
By the way, I
10:01.
This is not fun at all.
I see Twin Peaks at 11B. Have we got to look at who the Twin Peaks group is going to be? Not, I'm just saying here.
10:01, you'll be good to go.
Man.
I'm just trying to get you to pace yourself.
Fun police, man.
Just trying to get him to pace himself.
We're in the paddy wagon, Kevin.
Boss has got my handcuffs on here.
My boss is here. What do you want from me? That's how it goes.
I think your boss would be like, Kevin, crack a beer.
We'll ask her.
We go sneak one in the cart barn like I'm working at Plum Creek.
Here, go up to Andrea and say, hey, just give one to her too and say, you ready? Let's go. See how that goes.
Someone said JMV drinks on the air all the time.
That may be true or not true. I'm not
Different
sure.
rules for JMV and Kevin Bowen at the station.
We are definitely having a good time hanging out. Hopefully all of you are coming to join us, or many of you are, for the Fan Invitational, sponsored by Franciscan Health. We'll tell you all about that in a minute. Mark, do we have winners for the grounds passes to the Live tournament? Were you able to make it through callers 4 and 6 without dying?
Well, yeah, I also had to man the show because your signal dropped out. But, yeah, we had shout out to Chris, who won the first set of tickets, and then we had Anthony, who won the second set. They're all both very excited, and then some other people I said, hey, we got one more set to give away tomorrow, so hang in there.
All right, that'll be next week's golf tournament out at Chatham Hills Live Golf. We are here for Franciscan and the Fan Invitational. We'll tell you all about that. Talk more about tonight's preseason game with the Colts and the Ravens. A little bit more on the Fever as well as we continue on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
If there was a song to sing, I sing it and beer you bring. I drink beer when I am sad, cause the beer, it makes me glad. Now there's nothing left to say, so let's go drink beer.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Beer is good, beer is good. Let's go drink some beer.
James Boyd moving. Kevin Bowen saying beer is good. You and Homer Simpson right there. Beer is good.
Mark, you are the best.
Now, I'm a little nervous to ask this. Am I going to get in trouble if I do drink a beer? You made it clear I have to wait till 10:01.
You're a big boy. You do whatever you want to do.
I'm thinking.
Jeez, man.
I'm thinking 10:51.
I'm just pointing out.
8:51.
I'm just pointing out that it's a little early and you're hosting a golf tournament. That's all.
Boy,
Well,
I personally don't have a problem if you do.
love it.
I just know my boss is here.
There we go.
Oh, here it goes here.
Yes.
you know what?
Here it goes right here.
Times where
Yeah.
you gotta maybe go against the boss.
There you go.
The shout out to listener Chris in his Patriots gear has delivered a cold Miller Lite, and honestly, I would just be rude if I would have said no. Now, Patriots fan, this could be laced with something. So, but nonetheless,
probably
Mark
tastes
Dykton,
a little flat, right? A little flat.
Well, yeah, look at that. That was really good. Very good by Mark Dykton. Mark, I hope the sound effect played out there, and I'm going to have my first sip at 8:49.
I feel like to certain events you just travel with a 6-pack of Miller Lite.
Well, no, this is courtesy
This
of Chris
is
right over
this
there.
This is our
Chris.
listener support.
I mean, am I
There we
really
go.
going to turn down a listener?
No.
I mean, that's just rude. So, yeah.
I did notice you waited until Andrea was not around, though.
Well, I mean, again, we are
It's a golf outing.
Well, that, but honestly, without Chris, Jeff,
Good
we don't
Lord.
have jobs, man. So
No,
if
Chris is the
gonna
man.
offer that, then I'm simply just going to have a beer. So a sip or two. Boy, it tastes great.
I was at a Carpenter's golf outing.
I just wanted to make sure.
I was at a Carpenter's golf outing on Sunday. You think they waited till 8:50 to start cracking drinks? No.
I just wanted to make Kevin make sure that Andrea was around the other side of the building
Here
when
I
he
am,
did
like,
that.
hiding
That's all I
underneath
did.
my shirt here. All of a
I'm
sudden.
trying to take care of you.
Team Kevin.
The big boss is here, and I'm
Turning
trying to
36
make sure
years
you're
old
okay.
in a month, and I'm being told when I can have a beer when I
Man,
can.
oh, man.
Kevin's
man,
getting a
this is
talking
gonna be
to in the parking lot later today.
It's going to be a long hour and
Gonna
10
be-
minutes.
In the old days, the FCC would crack down on you
He's
for
gonna
drinking
call
on the
you
air.
Kevy later on. Kevy,
He called me
you
Kevin.
should
I
have
think,
made a decision.
I think earlier in the week you called me
Kevin.
Kevin.
You missed it. I did call him Kevin
Oh
earlier
my
in the
goodness!
week.
Did you pinch his cheeks too?
Yeah, well, I patted him on the head, but that's a different story. We are getting ready for Colts preseason game number 1 later on tonight. You going to be good to go by the time 7 o'clock rolls around?
it's a
all
long
day in the
day.
sun, a little Miller Lite all day long?
Well, it probably won't be the last one I have. Yeah, it'll be a long day. And what, James? 7 o'clock kicks. So what are we looking at? First half over by about 8:30, 8:15. Riley Leonard time.
And I want to be done writing by about 8:45.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be writing about guys who are important for the season. And
But you know how that
respect to Riley
goes.
Leonard, but he will not be relevant to the Colts this season. And if he is, that means that they're probably going to get a top 5 pick.
Thank you to Andy. Drinking beer makes for better radio. I can't say I disagree with that statement. And Rex put it in a red Solo cup, and he referred to you as Dad.
I am not
Jeff Rickard.
opposed to any of this.
Dad
It's
will
just my
never
boss is
know.
here. Your boss is here. I just want to make sure everybody's good to go. I'm protecting you, Kevin.
Sports radio station at a golf outing.
I know.
I mean, jeez.
Kevin's going at 8:45 in the morning.
Grown man.
Hey, this is an hour and 45 minutes later than I had one at
Can we
Carp
get you some
Day.
I mean, you can put that on your Frosted Flakes and just go all out, right?
Oh, that actually sounds halfway decent. Though.
I knew that. I knew as soon as I
College
said that.
Kevin
He's
do
like,
By the way, I had Cinnamon Toast Crunch a few weeks back. Oh,
I love Cinnamon
so
Toast
good.
Crunch. That's always in our pantry. Always.
How about the flags that we have up here at the lovely Legends Golf Course? So we have some collegiate flags up. We see
Yeah.
Indiana Purdue. And again, 1991 on the clock here at the Legends. I believe I guess that's when this place was built. Bob Knight was a frequent visitor here to the Legends. So the IU flag honestly looks like a little Bob Knight era. Is that St. John's? I'm
Yes.
seeing?
Yeah, Kansas
Western
Jayhawks,
Kentucky?
St.
And
John's,
is
Western
that a
Kentucky.
hilltopper? Did
It
Jack
is a
Doyle
hilltopper.
put that flag up today? Did Rick Pitino put the other one up? I mean, I'm fascinated to know why the other 3 flags are
That is a
Kansas,
Yeah.
St. John's, and Western Kentucky.
Well, yeah.
That
Can
is-
you explain that to me at all? Will the Butler people come out and see the St.
Well,
John's
we need to get
flag and
Ted
ask it
Bishop
to be
over
brought
here.
down?
I'm sure Ted Bishop has an explanation for us. We'll have to talk to him about that.
Sure he does. James Boyd, anything we haven't hit on yet? You know, I've brought up the Justin Wally injury. I don't know.
He had a nice pass breakup.
Guys are getting their knees iced. It makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, he had a nice pass breakup in 11-11 on a deep ball, I believe, from Lamar Jackson. So you're thinking, man, this guy is really taking another step forward. And then he has to exit practice with the knee. We don't know the severity of it just yet, so I don't want to speculate about how severe it is, and certainly don't want to put any bad juju out there. However, it is concerning, and I would assume that he isn't going to be available tonight because you want to protect him for a month from now when you're doing your season opener. So we'll see how that goes. But from the depth standpoint, all the depth you had or you thought you had at cornerback is kind of dried up because of injuries, and sometimes that's just football and the unfortunate nature of it when it comes to just the physicality and how unlucky you can be sometimes. But beyond cornerback, I'm curious about Hunter Wohler and what his role will be, Kevin, and how big it could be.
Yeah, safety out of Wisconsin, 7th round pick. And when you say that, are you inferring that he's obviously going to make the team in your eyes and my eyes as well? He's going to play a consistent role in special teams.
Yeah.
Do you think he could play a defensive role?
Right. And my thing is, okay, let's say, for example, when Hunter Wohler got his interception on Lamar Jackson, which was in their last 2-minute drill, he was playing linebacker. And then the second time he got an interception, which was actually tipped by Cameron McGrone, he caught that at safety. So with that in mind, I just wonder, could he be, and actually shout out to Zach Hicks, who covers the Colts for Sports Illustrated and Locked On Colts alongside Jake Arthur, who's also a fantastic human being. They were both kind of theorizing, could he be their 2-minute drill linebacker?
Yeah, your dime linebacker in these sub
because he's rangier and he can run.
Yeah, Clayton Geathers played a role to kind of get Colts fans a little bit on that. You know, this was a handful of years ago at this point. But to answer your question, yes, I legit. And I would add this, too, to that plate, James. And, again, for those that have not seen Hunter Wohler yet, number 30 when you watch tonight, good-sized safety, and, again, playing a little dime linebacker. The Colts play the top 5 tight ends in the league from last year.
Right.
Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Trey McBride, Jonnu Smith, all those guys, Brock Bowers, those guys that led the league in receiving. So I would say this, yes, dime linebacker, but also we know Lou Anarumo has said before, he doesn't want defensive backs guarding tight ends.
Right.
He thinks that, you got to have a little bigger safety kind of in that realm. So is that a Hunter Wohler? Now, it's a lot to put on a rookie's plate.
It is.
But do you trust that?
But the flip side of it, in my opinion, is that he played so much at Wisconsin, and he also played a variety of positions at Wisconsin. Now, it's not the same as the NFL. There's better athletes, better schemes, and obviously more complicated nature of the game. But with his background, him being kind of I want to say his dad might have coached football as well, so he's kind of the football lifer already, even though he's obviously a young player. So just growing up in that sort of environment, playing those types of roles at Wisconsin, and then having an expanded role in the NFL, it's helping him, I think, kind of acclimate himself faster. And, again, is he someone you can rely on when you need more of a guy who can run on the back end or even in that mid-tier secondary. So I think he's somebody who's going to be a player for him. I really do.
We do have a poll here out from a listener before we get to Nate Atkins at the top of the hour. This courtesy of Jennifer. Jennifer, thank you very much for this. Jennifer says, should Kevin Bowen be allowed to have a beer at the golf outing before 10:01 a.m.? There are 2 choices here. Yes, it is a golf outing. Or no fun allowed.
I hope our listeners go 100% for you having
showed
a beer.
up
right now.
So, Jake, weigh in, please.
We have a Jeff Rickard vote of no.
He had 6 on carb day before 8 a.m. a couple years ago, so why stop now?
Yeah, Jake was scratching my back on carb day a few years ago.
I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be about 99%.
Now, did Jake Query
yes
put up the
that.
Kansas flag? People are asking this. Jake, I mean, you more than anybody.
It would have been a Clemson
Why
flag.
do we have a Kansas St. John's? Is that Lou Stanley in the house? Kenny LaRose and Lou Stanley in the house. We can get this party started.
There we go.
Why do we have a Western Kentucky, St. John's, and Kansas flags? Can you explain that, Jake?
Excellent question. I can't speak to it. There's got to be somebody with some connection to it. In college, they would say if you failed a class, you flagged it because
Yeah.
I flagged every class.
There we go. I like it.
The rest of them I have no idea.
All right, we're going to take a quick time out. We were at Legends Golf Course for the Fan Invitational today, brought to you by Franciscan Health. We've got lots to do. Actually, coming up in a minute, we're going to talk Colts with Nate Atkins. So we'll do that next as we continue. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Kevin's a happy man. Miller Lite in hand. Golf clubs at the ready. The Fan Invitational tees off at about 10:30.
By the way,
yeah,
the boss stopped by.
Oh, yeah.
I know, and everything's cool now, right?
Andrea stopped by. James Boyd.
And what was her vote?
Jeff in on what she said.
What was her vote?
She said it's a golf outing. Enjoy yourself.
Say no more.
Yeah.
She said she was jealous.
I was trying to protect you from her. So now that we've gotten the green light from her, we're good to go.
Gosh, it tastes great. It's unbelievable.
Less filling?
I probably do this once every 4 or 5 months. Have a beer during the show, which is just part of the job. Boy, every time I do it, I'm like, man, this is dangerous.
You're a brave man. That's all I can say. Brave man. Do we have Nate Atkins on the phone line right now? As we get ready for the Colts preseason game for the Ravens a little bit later on tonight from the Indy Star. He covers the team and joins us, as he often does here on the Payless Liquors hotline. Good morning, Nate. See, if you were here, we'd let you have a light beer, too, man.
Nate would definitely be cheersing with me.
You'd be there, right, Nate?
I'd be cheersing with you. I wouldn't love the fact that someone put up a Kansas flag. That doesn't make any sense to me, but I would be there to cheers with Kevin for sure.
Now, we did get a lowdown from Ted Bishop. He rattled off all the reasons these flags are up there, and not to go through the whole family tree, but basically he's got connections to all of these schools.
Like legit connections.
Well, yeah, like
Played
family
there,
members, daughters, son. They
Yeah.
said his grandson is going to be a manager on the Purdue basketball team this year. The pro here at Legends went to Western Kentucky. Shout out Jack Doyle, top. So we have a little bit of explanation on that.
That all makes
Nate,
sense.
I'm not following totally. You are an Ohio State guy. You've made that abundantly clear as your Buckeyes beat my Irish in the national title. Your hatred for Kansas is where?
I went to Mizzou, so there's two teams of loyalty for me. So, yeah, that one has to stay there.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
That makes some sense.
Got it. Yep. That makes total sense.
So,
go ahead.
I do want to pivot to more Colts-related news there, Nate. We were out at practice, and you saw what A.D. Mitchell did to those Ravens defenders, and I would argue that none of them could really stand a chance against him. What's the next step for A.D. Mitchell, and what do you want to see from him tonight, assuming he plays in the preseason opener?
Yeah, that was a show he put on the other day out at the Ravens facility. Burnt toast, I believe, is the phrase he gave to Wiggins when he burned him on that fade route. And it's just encouraging to see him stack these days, as they say. It's weird to go from, first week of camp where it felt like he couldn't catch the ball and he couldn't stay at his feet to all of a sudden he is not only doing both of those, but he's basically unguardable deep and along the sidelines, and drew 2 penalties the other day too. They just can't handle him, and you see the confidence come alive with some of that chirping. But we've seen that in practice too. So we need to see that in a game setting, and really not until the regular season hits and teams are game planning against him and crowds are real and all that stuff are we really going to know that. But it would be nice to see it in a game setting. What I really want to see tonight, since Anthony Richardson is starting and playing for a quarter and a half before Daniel Jones comes in, I want to see that deep ball get going for both of them. So A.D. Mitchell needs to show that he can do that in a game setting that's a little bit more real than practice. And Anthony Richardson needs to show that part of his game is still consistent in what it looked like last year, because it hasn't always been there this camp when he's focused so much on the short throws. And if they're able to show a little bit more of that, that's going to be huge for both of them, for Anthony winning the job and for A.D. Mitchell showing that he has a role in this offense that they have to have him on the field for. Because if you think about it, right now they have 3 800-yard wide receivers coming back, and then they add Tyler Warren to the mix. That's going to lower the pressure on A.D. Mitchell to perform. It's amazing to think last year he finished 4th on the team in receptions, even though he had the worst catch percentage in the history of the franchise. It just showed you how kind of bare the receiving options were after those top 3 guys. So this year you added Tyler Warren, you bring back those receivers, you add a pass-catching running back. We will see how good he is, but he has the skills in DJ Giddens. It's less pressure on A.D. Mitchell, but you still want him to have a role. You want him to hit some of that upside as a second-round pick, and it's theoretically a perfect fit for an offense that's going to run the ball as much as they are, that's going to pull safeties into the box to handle both Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones with Jonathan Taylor. And those play-action opportunities to then go deep. If he's one-on-one, what we've seen in camp over the last week is that he has a skill set that's just far advanced above most cornerbacks in this league. Of course, we've got to see him catch the ball. We've got to see him run smooth routes, get on the page of the quarterback, all the things he didn't do last year. If he can start to show some of those and just look like he's maturing and developing in a lot of the football ways, I mean, he still has all the upside to be a big player for this team, and it would really raise the ceiling of an offense that I'm convinced is going to run the ball really well since they have the two mobile quarterbacks in Jonathan Taylor. But if they can add that part to their passing game in addition to that, this could all start to work out for a player who's got all the talent in the world, but didn't show a lot of it in the games last year.
It's the voice of Nate Atkins live in Baltimore, 7 o'clock. You can hear it right here on these airwaves, Fox 59, locally from a TV standpoint. Nate, I want to get a little bit more into the quarterbacks. You mentioned there you want to see a deep ball, Richardson and Jones. I definitely hear you out on the Jones part. I don't know, Richardson, I get what you're saying. We've yet to really see the deep ball uncorked maybe a ton in camp, and you have questions maybe a little bit in regards to the shoulder with that. I'd probably go the other way, though, with Richardson. I know he can do that. Again, I get where you're coming from with the surgery and everything and the soreness he had in the spring, but I'd rather see boring. I'd rather see sustained drive, underneath accuracy. Is the wider base hold up in live settings where he can get hit? I think I'm more in that boat with him in regards to how he looks tonight on the field.
Yeah, I definitely get that. I mean, that's why when we've seen that in camp, we've joked about how normally when a receiver hits like a 5-yard out throw in training camp or a quarterback hits it, we just kind of shrug it off. But not with Anthony, because that's the throw he couldn't make dating back to the combine. When he threw next to C.J. Stroud, he just could not hit out throws for anything, and now he's starting to. And so that's what we wanted to see coming in. We've seen a lot of it. I just think as far as the quarterback competition goes, as they take this into 2 preseason games, the separator is going to ultimately be that upside, because we know Daniel Jones can hit those out throws and those short throws and complete passes, and that's why it stayed fairly close, it feels like, as you watch these two, and it doesn't feel like there's been a lot of separation yet. I think the separation is going to come with the deep ball, because from what I've seen from Daniel Jones' career and in training camp so far, I just don't know how much that's in his bag, how much he's willing to do it, how much he sees it early on. There's been opportunities where he's had a guy like A.D. Mitchell just win a route immediately off the ball, and rather than throw it and air it out down the field, he's going back shoulder, which can still get a 20-yard gain, but not those catch and run opportunities all the way down the field that Alec Pierce was able to turn in last year with Anthony Richardson. So we do know it's in Anthony's bag, and I have confidence it'll be back. I think it's just sort of a rusty deep ball right now after he took him off from throwing in the spring, and he spent all of his time away from the facility focusing on the short passes, and that's been their focus. So I'm confident it'll be back. I'm just thinking that once it is back, if that happens as early as tonight, I think this race is going to be over. In the earlier that it's over, the earlier they can move on to building around one quarterback, having these receivers work with one quarterback. And I think that's going to be important for guys like A.D. Mitchell and Tyler Warren and DJ Giddens, who are young players that we saw last year and the year before. When you switch quarterbacks and you change the styles on them as passers, and when these two quarterbacks are very different, that just seems to wear on players. So while I understand them making this a competition and they want Anthony to earn it, and that all makes sense, at some point to tap into this upside of this offense, I think they are going to need to have one guy, and I would like that to happen earlier rather than later.
Nate Atkins, Indy Star, joining us. Colts Ravens later on tonight, 7 o'clock kickoff. We'll start our coverage at 4 o'clock with JMV and then the Colts broadcast network. And Nate, I'm just curious, what is the state of the kicking game for the Colts right now? Because it just seems like we have no idea going into the season what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's two guys who are about as unproven as they come. So, out in training camp, Spencer Schrader has been the better kicker from what we've seen and what we've gathered from some of the numbers that Brian Mason is always proud to share with us. But he also said that special teams coordinator Brian Mason said that he looks for kickers to be at 90% this time of year when there's no crowds and weather and all of that. And Spencer's not quite there either. So they haven't had a separation yet. That's where the preseason games are going to really matter because it is more of a game setting, game situations. I think we're going to see them try kicks in situations where in the regular season they will go for it, just Shane Steichen's aggressiveness and the run game personnel and doing the numbers. But they're going to try those kicks in the preseason to try to get that separation. And it's still going to be a wild card heading into week one. We've seen this before where it's always interesting with kickers because we don't talk a lot about them in training camp in the preseason. And then all of a sudden you're in week one or week two, and it's what everyone in the world wants to talk about when it's not going well. And so I still think that's out there kind of no matter how it goes because these guys are unproven, and it is such a mental confidence position. But I think if we see some separation, especially on those longer kicks, that's going to matter because that ended up being what hurt Matt Gay in the end, is that he became reliable once he got healthy from 40 yards and in, but those deep kicks were just never there, and it wasn't there enough to justify a big contract for this guy. This is a different situation where these guys are here on the cheap, so it's not as much pressure on that, and I do think based on their lack of proven ability, that will lead Shane Steichen to forward even more. But there's going to be moments where they're going to want to get 3 points when it's 4th and 8 and they're at the 32-yard line or something like that. So it is an important position, and I think these two preseason games, as much as they'll tell us about the quarterbacks, I think they'll tell us a lot about the kickers as well.
Last one from me, Nate. This is more of just on the Baltimore scene. What food are you trying later on? Let's end on that note. I know you're always trying to get me to try things. We're on the road together, and sometimes I look at you like you're crazy because I'm not going that far. But in Baltimore, what are you looking forward to grabbing to eat later on today or maybe after the game?
Yeah, I'm looking to get some crab cakes. I know you had some of that the other night. I did not indulge in those, and I kind of regret that at this point. And so whenever you come out to Maryland, Maryland crab is the thing to go with. So that's what I'm looking for. I think you enjoyed those the other night, not the catfish. So I take that recommendation to heart, and so I think it's gonna be pretty good once I get some crab cakes.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling the catfish and grits. Soggy catfish, not it, Kevin.
Crab cakes and football sounds better than catfish, soggy grits and football.
Yeah, that wasn't it. That was a little too much going on that day. But.
Nate, thanks for stopping by, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You bet. Nate Atkins, the Indy Star on the Payless Liquors hotline. So that was the highlight of your trip, the crab cakes?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a simple man. You go on the road and someone tells you this is what this place is known for, you order that.
Twitter poll update here from
crab
Jennifer.
Cakes and football. Nice. That's what Maryland does.
Thank you, Mark Dykton, for that.
Find this stuff.
Jennifer, should Kevin Bowen be allowed to have a beer at the golf outing before 10:01 a.m.? So far, the poll is
100, right?
94.1%.
And I haven't voted, by the way.
Jennifer, did you say Jeff Rickard is the only no on that?
I have not voted yet.
I believe that's the case.
It's Jeff and his burner accounts.
I need to fight those people that voted no.
YouTube. The Legends Cat is showing up here and trying to get a sip of my Baker.
That's Baker.
Baker Mayfield trying to get a sip of my Miller Lite here.
You're going to get the cat drunk before 10:01.
You got to draw the line somewhere,
We are out at Legends Golf Course. It is a golf outing today. I'm good with that, Kevin. I just want to make sure that the boss was good with it. That's all. Wanted to protect you.
Man.
That's it.
I don't know. The boss came over here was pretty cool.
The boss came over here.
The boss is very cool.
Right. So.
All right. We are going to be out here all day long with Franciscan, our fine friends over there. We're going to tell you a little bit more about some of the things they do for cancer screening, especially skin cancer, coming up in just a moment here. We've got a food truck out here today. I'll give you all the details on that. The legendary food truck, which is as good as it gets. Going to be lunch provided throughout the day, James, so you'll get your food here. Don't worry about that.
You know me.
That's what we have going on here. In the meantime, let's check it down.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Mark, any truth to the rumor that you're back at the studio cracking up in a Miller Lite right now?
No beers here, but I'll be heading out that way after the show. So, yeah, I'll crack one open with Kevin.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you, Mark.
We've got football season,
I might
preseason
dump it
football
on you
tonight.
after your antics yesterday.
Wow.
I might have a cooler for you, Kevin. I might have a cooler of something for you coming your way.
You can tell, James, it got contentious yesterday, right?
Wow.
He's going to try to butter you up with a cooler of Miller Lite is what he's going to try to do.
Okay. Mark Dykton.
In the meantime, 4 o'clock coverage today for the Colts and Ravens. 7 o'clock kickoff time. You're going to have to let that one go at some point, Kevin. You're going to have to let it go at some point.
I don't think so.
But we will be able to listen to that live right here on 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Matt Taylor will have the play-by-play. JMV will get you good to go starting at 4 o'clock. And then, of course, you can watch it on Fox 59 tonight. And then afterwards, we'll have 10 o'clock start tip-off between the Indiana Fever and the Phoenix Mercury. That one will be heard on WIBC. And then you can watch that one where?
Fever, I want to say.
Prime Video.
Is it Prime?
Yeah,
Which usually means
tonight.
WTHR locally,
Yes.
I think. Don't quote me on that, but that's usually been the cadence here.
Yep, WTHR and Amazon Prime.
So, yeah, it's a busy Thursday night here. You don't usually say that in the month of August. But, yeah, again, just to remind people from a voices standpoint who they're here on our airwaves, it will be Matt Taylor along with Charles Arbuckle. Unfortunately, Coach Venturi unable to travel to the road games. And then TV-wise, it will be Joe Wrights joining Greg Rakestraw in the booth there. So that's your action tonight here from Baltimore.
All right, as I mentioned, the Fever coming off a loss to the Los Angeles Sparks the other night. We'll try to get back on their winning ways against the Phoenix Mercury tonight again. 10 p.m. is tip. That game will be heard, as I said, on WIBC.
You surprised they're 4-point underdog, James, Fever?
Not on the road, not necessarily.
Not to me. I think the Phoenix Mercury have played pretty good basketball this year, so I think they might even still have a better record than the Fever. Don't quote me on that, but not too surprised by it. But I should be a good matchup nonetheless.
All right. Meanwhile, Major League Baseball yesterday, the Cubs beat the Reds by a score of 6-1. St. Louis Cardinals got past the Dodgers by a score of 5-3. It was the Mariners of the White Sox, 8-6. Victory Field, not too kind to the Indians yesterday. They lost an afternoon game to the Omaha Storm Chasers. 5-4 was the final score there. They will play again a little bit later on tonight.
Guys, I'm starting to get the beer burps.
That's okay. This is why I worry about it, but I'm good with it. If you're good with it, I'm good with it.
I don't know.
You all right?
Have they come through yet, Mark? Have they, has the audio caught it yet? I've
Not
tried
yet.
to hide them well.
Nothing's been picked up yet.
So this is my question. So when you're growing up and your parents say over and over again, I'm good with this. I'm good with this. I'm good with this. Are they really good with it? I don't know. I feel like my mom was always, Jeff, I don't know.
It sounds to me like your parents will tell you if they're not good with it.
Yeah, like, Jeff, are you with it or against it, man?
Is Jeff going to go by the office and pull out the Kevin Bowen record and put demerit?
Yeah.
August 7th, 2025. Drink beer at the golf
For all
outing.
the times I make you guys come to my office, that's the time.
Yeah, I'm like, this is left, right, up, down. It's very simple.
Now I'm shaking with the Miller Lite here. Oh, jeez.
It's a golf outing, Kevin. Go for it, man.
I will say it is cool to
Go
see
for
everybody
it.
out
Is that
here.
number 1 or 2?
This is 1, but I was told that number 2 should be coming up here. But yeah, James Boyd, is there anything better than this? The golf course coming to life here at the Legends?
Yeah, start to see some carts out here.
So you got one right here, 10 right here.
The Morning Men's Club is already going.
18th green, Corey Zadonis, huge 2-putt par there to get in the playoff in the 2008 state finals. Then he goes to 10, stripes a driver. Unfortunately, Chase Wright hit his second shot in the water. Corey Zadonis right in the middle of the green, 2-putt birdie, Cathedral team and individual state champs. I love that, man.
It was like it's burned into your memory, Kevin.
Burned into my memory.
Oh, man.
But I did forget my golf shoes, like I told you guys earlier in the show.
So just playing sneakers or what?
Well, luckily, again, Dr. David Plager, thank you to him. He delivered them to me, I think, on the second tee maybe there. But
so in the meantime, was your butt like in your shoes, literally, or in your?
I it didn't even hit me. And then I'm on the first tee, and what's his name, Ryan, whatever, from Indiana Golf Association. I forget his name. He looked at me. He's like, "Kevin, are you really wearing those?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh,
boy,
yeah." It was humbling.
You worked stress.
Franciscan Health
that carried me.
Franciscan Health triple threat in the fight against cancer, combining advanced research, compassionate care, specialized teams for every single patient. And, of course, they offer multidisciplinary programs for breast, lung, prostate, melanoma, and a whole lot more tailored to every patient's individual needs. We'll tell you more about that with
How about Jake Murray's triple threat down there? Look at him dribbling right there.
Yeah, he's doing that.
I'm blocking that up. Please stop. Man, I'm blocking that up.
He looks like Doug Mitchell is trying to get him some more playing time there at North Central. Is this a Notre Dame hat that's getting delivered right here?
Oh, live
Look
on air.
at this.
Man, this is why you like showing up to these places.
A Miller Lite and listener Brandt with a huge, look at this hat. Oh, my gosh, that's beautiful. Thank you, sir. Notre Dame Club.
And he's got his Notre Dame polo on, too. He's good to go. He's good to go. All right, Kevin's going to have a completely different wardrobe coming up in a minute. And we will continue next from Legends Golf Club. Tell you more about Franciscan Health next.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
James getting his groove on. Kevin literally taking the shirt and hats off people's back as they arrived to play golf today.
Fourth quarter at Camp Randall, right? With this?
Oh, man. When I hear that song, college football, it's just great.
Well, we got a Wisconsin guy that's trying to make a mark for the Colts this year, too.
Jonathan Taylor being the poster child of it.
Right, but he's already established.
Hunter Wohler is indeed doing that, leading tackler for Wisconsin each of the last 2 years. James and I were talking during the break a little bit earlier, Jeff. I think you were off doing more important things. But we have 3 top 10 matchups in week 1 of college football.
So excited for that.
First time ever. We've had 3 of them.
And I think it's first time 1 versus 2, right?
But yes, Clemson, LSU, and then Notre Dame, Miami, and that. Oh, here's my other Miller Lite.
Oh, you got another Miller Lite coming here.
Chris is back.
Right in front of the doctor from
now again, this is
Franciscan.
Yeah. I'm going to give up my chair for the doctor because Lord knows she's going to look at she's going to look at me with the Miller Lite in my hands.
Did we hook her up with a Miller Lite, or she's got to do patients today?
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say she has far more important things to do.
We're talking to Emily Keller, obviously dermatologist, doctor with Franciscan, and also affiliated with some other folks. I'm guessing about skin cancer and how to protect yourself. You've got the great protective hat that you came over here with. Now, most people wear a ball cap out there.
Right.
Do that. I usually do like a 30 and a ball cap. Is that enough?
No.
No.
But thank you for asking.
No.
The ball cap only
Dr.
protects
Keller.
the forehead. But I do love the 30.
Okay.
But I would love a wide-brimmed hat because you got to protect those ears and the rest of the face.
I've also heard that there's really no – once you get to 30, is there any point in having a 60? You're pretty protected at that point, right?
Really, once you get to 50, you're pretty good after
50.
that.
50. So you're looking for a 5-0.
Yeah, in the summer, I love a 50. In the winter, I'd say a 30 is totally fine.
All right. So what are you worried about for people out here today then?
Well, a big thing about here is reapplying because you're playing all day.
Yeah.
You know, after a couple hours, it's melted off of you. So you got to pull out the sunscreen from your bag, put it on, and keep
But it's really important, right?
Yes.
Because I worry about myself. I used to race bikes, and I still ride bikes a lot, and I'm hit or miss sometimes on protection, especially when you've been out there for 2 or 3 hours. You sweat it all off and stuff like that.
And you don't think about it.
No, and now it's probably way too late for me, so it's going to be what it is, right?
Everything is helpful. But, I mean, if you can get this on every few hours, just the amount of pre-cancers and skin cancers we treat in the future is going to be so much less.
Does it help that I generally try to ride in the evenings, like 6:30, 7 o'clock, when the sun's really not so high in the sky?
Yes, we tend to think between 10 and 2 is the highest amount of sun exposure. And so if you can do
all those early morning rides and evening rides, I've been okay, right?
Exactly, much better.
Good.
Emily, along those lines, for those who do have to be out in the sun, whether it's for golf or for work or whatever, what would be like your to-do list that we should check off to make sure that we're as protected as we can be?
Sunglasses, wide-brimmed hat, long-sleeve shirt, long-sleeve long pants. Because they have all of this cooling clothing now that wicks away the moisture. It's embedded with SPF. You can wash it multiple times. And, you know, some people don't like the feeling of sunblock. They're like, it's disgusting. Fine. You can protect in many other ways.
And this is one of those cancers you really can protect yourself to a great extent, right?
Yes. I mean, these are 99% due to sun exposure. So it is all our behaviors. So we can do easy things that make a huge difference.
I'm such a slacker. I'm not going to lie.
And when you start now, you can look like you're 20 for the rest of your life. See?
That day may have passed.
That ship sailed, my friends.
That may. Anything else we need to know? Thanks. By the way, thanks for you and all your friends at Franciscan for helping us out on this, because it's really important that people be aware of all the things they can do to get ahead of the game, right?
Yes, and I know it sounds scary getting a skin check, but it's pretty darn easy, and we're nice, so we make it fun.
Because a lot of people won't go because they're just afraid what they might find out, right?
Exactly, and so much of this is very, very easily curable.
All right. Well, I know you've got patients to see today, so we're not going to keep you too long. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Modeling the perfect behavior with the big floppy sun hat, too.
That's what we do.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
She has the glowing skin, too. Did you notice that?
Man,
if you're a dermatologist, you have to be at the glowing skin, right?
You're a dermatologist or a dentist. They got the perfect teeth.
I know, man. It's all good. Thanks for stopping by, Dr. Emily Keller, part of the huge effort by Franciscan to make sure people stay healthy before you start to get sick or you have symptoms. And if you do get sick, then they've got great programs to help you through all that as well. Find out more. Franciscan Health, the cancer care focus is a big deal for them. And again, all day long for those who came out today, free cancer screenings on the course today, brought to you by the Franciscan Health Cancer Center. Look up Franciscan Health Cancer, and you will find out all kinds of ways to take care of yourself because it really is. It's something you can get ahead of and stay ahead of, James.
Absolutely.
That's the way you got to do it, man.
I'm on my dad all the time about that type of stuff, jokes aside. I'm like, look, man, I know we joke about having melanin.
Yeah.
Brother, you better put some sunscreen on so you can have some healthy skin later on.
Yeah,
Team Bucket Hat, right? James, you and I at training camp.
I forgot to bring it today, but I am Team Bucket Hat most days, and I do have a nice hat here.
It's a good thing my man Carlton brought a hat for me today from Ducks because I forgot my hat. It's on the kitchen counter at home. It's the one thing I did not grab today.
Now, I was talking with some other guests here at the golf outing. Now, did she mention anything if you crack a second beer that helps your skin coverage?
I think she specifically said 2 or 3 before 10:01 will help you dramatically.
It's a little Jeff Rickard, slightly different Jeff Rickard than I heard about an hour ago.
I just wanted to make sure we were good with the folks up above,
he's
man.
Been swayed by the poll.
See, here's the problem. When you have, I just want to make sure my bosses are happy. That's all I want to do in life. Just want to make sure my bosses are happy. It's just like Office Space. Just want to make sure everybody's happy.
Sounds like they're cool with it. So Jeff, let it rip yourself. I think you crack one open too.
I know he does.
Well, I didn't.
He has one right next to him.
Point of order. I did not wait for permission over. Was this for James?
No, I was just
okay. I did not ask for permission at Carb Day, did I? I just did.
Yeah, you did. And if I remember correctly, that was a large chug at Carb Day for him.
That's the way it goes. We've got Colts and football tonight. 3 games on the schedule this evening. Of course, we're just paying attention to the Colts and the Ravens. And again, we know football, preseason football can be vanilla, but we just want to see Anthony Richards. I think the biggest thing tonight is we want to see him be accurate, right? And move the sticks.
Yeah, I mean, I said be boring earlier, sustain drives. Again, when we had Nate Atkins on earlier in the 9 o'clock hour, Nate brought up the deep ball. And I get where he's coming from, James, because we probably haven't seen as abundance of it from Richardson as we are used to. And again, Nate points out how much of that is shoulder related. But honestly, if Anthony Richardson has a night of dink and dunking and goes 9 of 12, and we're talking about it tomorrow on air, I'm going to be like, all right, that is another step in the right direction.
He's taking a lot of steps in the offseason this year, right?
I mean, so far, some of the biggest cons you would have been better. But again, tonight, that jersey color's not red anymore. So that's the question I have. When it's not red and you can get hit, do you revert back to your old self? Because that's the thing we all do. Everybody does that out here on the golf course. Your driving range swings much different than when it gets real out here. It gets real out here, and you put a bunker and you put some water, and all of a sudden you revert back to
I'm the king of that.
To old habits. So
it's
does
true.
Anthony Richardson revert back to old habits tonight?
Well, for my viewing pleasure, I do want to see a couple of long passes, Kevin. So all that conservative
James' preseason fantasy football team.
Yeah, I want to see a long pass or two. I mean, he's getting some reps in there. I don't want to, cage the man too much, but I actually think that the longer passes would benefit Daniel Jones a lot more than Anthony Richardson because he has been very gun-shy throughout training camp. And I know he pushed back on that notion when Jake Arthur asked him about it, I believe last week. But the bottom line is we haven't seen him do it very often. I want to say the one time that he's definitively thrown the ball down the field very far in the team period was when he had a guy jump off sides in that night practice, Kevin. So I know we can move on to more, not pressing things, but different things. I know we have some folks in the Horizon League hanging around, ready to come on the air, but just wanted to slip that in there about the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that tonight. And I do think, as you pointed out earlier in the show, Kevin, the kicking, in today's National Football League, your kicking game can win and lose you a couple of games every year. And the Colts start this camp with 2 guys that we don't have any idea what they're capable of doing when the regular season truly comes around.
And James, percentage-wise, Spencer Schrader, who is thought to be the favorite, is probably, 80-ish, 85%?
Yeah, about 85.
Now, the misses, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they've all been north of 50.
Right.
So, again, this gets back into, right now, 10-day sample size of training camp at a joint practice. It's been Matt Gay from last season. I mean, pretty much it's exactly what it's been. So
Matt Gay did not miss inside of 50 last year.
Correct. So again, are you content with that? And for Schrader, who is a very uniquely wired individual. I mean, you were to talk about uber positive, and he probably wouldn't like me drinking this Miller Lite, frankly, at 9:39 in the morning. But he is one that they love his mental makeup. They love how he's wired, and they love the big leg, and they think that can create the ideal kind of NFL kicker created player, if you will. But he's only kicked in 5 NFL games. So what does that look like late in games?
And it doesn't mean he won't be good. We just don't know.
No. I mean, and the unique thing about the kicking competition, really both competitions, quarterback and kicker, the Colts have very unique competitions within those rooms. Quarterback, the competition is not veteran versus rookie or veteran versus young guy. It's 2 former top 10 picks.
Yeah.
That are trying to resurrect whatever careers they've had. And then at kicker, again, it's not veteran versus young guy. It's 2 undrafted free agents from each of the last 2 years.
Well,
by the way, this is Charlie Plager right here.
Yeah, Charlie's getting ready. He's doing the golf stretch right now too.
He is. He needs a stretch horse on the first tee here. Charlie Plager's had some unbelievable moments on this golf course. His brother is a state champion. He is also a state champion. This man is the ringer of the golf outing right here.
Nice. What are we looking at?
Now I have a question.
Does that mean we're looking at like a 57, a 58
he might be in the
win
Garlock
tonight?
group here, the 1B group.
Yeah.
This Garlock group here.
They're going to be the 20.
That's smart putting him 1B because he's not going to be happy about that. Oh, man, I'm in a B group. I want to be in an A group.
There's always one ringer group that shoots like 23 under par. Is that it?
Both of you guys got state championships. Who gets bragging rights? You or your brother? Who won it first?
Well, yeah.
He did?
Yeah,
okay, well.
Yeah.
Well, but you proved it. You were right there. You lived up to it.
Charlie was passing out Gatorades to his brother back in the
Mondos or Gatorades?
Yeah. Well, Mondos were the after party.
All right.
By the way, Mark, you said you got a cooler for me later today. Did I hear you correctly?
You heard me correctly.
Oh, boy.
Man.
He's trying to get back in good graces.
Man, am I excited. I can't, people are happy when they see the beverage cart. They're like, oh, there's the beverage cart. Look at the beverage cart girl. I can't wait till I see Mark Dykton in a golf.
Are you going to be Mark is going to be the beverage cart guy today.
I'm going to grab a cart and get out there and be like, I must deliver these to Kevin. It'll be like I'm delivering a kidney.
Something like that. All right, quick timeout. We're going to finish up strong. We're getting ready for the golf tournament to tee off with our friends at Franciscan out here. We'll check in with the Horizon League next as we continue at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
It is a picture-perfect day out at Legends Golf Course here on the southern tip of the Indianapolis metro area. Terrific 27-hole setup. We've got the shotgun start ready to go in about 45 minutes from now. We've teamed up with our fine friends at Franciscan, and they just help you out in so many ways to keep you healthy. You know, cancer's complicated. Franciscan Health offers second opinions to help patients understand what their options are going to be, choose the right treatment path. More importantly, they want to stop you from getting cancer before that happens, so all kinds of prevention measures you can take. We talked to a dermatologist a little while ago. Go to Franciscan at the website and check all the ways that you can take care of yourself. But one of the things we do here at the Fan is we do sports. We talk sports. We love sports at every level and every way and every form. We've partnered the last several years with the Horizon League. We're happy to do that again this year. And now this is a special treat for me, James, because I like talking about – I came from a smaller conference playing football myself, so I like these kinds of things. But, man, yeah, Drew Namovich joins us from the Horizon League today, and his father, Jim, who's from the Great Lakes Valley Conference, right?
Yeah, thanks for having us, Jeff.
Yeah.
James, thanks.
Appreciate you guys being here. Now, here's one thing that you can both answer. So much going on in the NCAA these days. And even the NCAA, you know, talk about Division I football, if you want to call it the FBA, whatever. They don't even know what the rules are anymore. How does that make it easy for you guys when the big boys, you know, the Big Tens and the SECs, they're making it up as they go along? How does that affect you every day, Drew?
Yeah, it all has kind of a trickle-down effect. At the end of the day, what we try to focus on is providing the best student-athlete experience for our 19 championships, our nearly 4,000 student-athletes. So, yeah, there's a lot going on at the national stage, the national office. A lot of that is focused on football, with being a non-football conference. So some of that doesn't impact us as much. But anything happening with the big boys for men's, women's basketball definitely has an impact on us. So thankfully, we have great leadership at the Horizon League with Julie Rowe-Lash, and she stays engaged. She keeps all of us up to date on what we need to do as a staff to make sure that at the end of the day, we're trying to give those opportunities to the student athletes.
And if people are wondering, we got a father-son here, right? Jim, you're the big boy here. Your dad and your son is following in your footsteps there. But I want to ask you guys, because you are basketball-centric, how would that have expanded field that they were talking about for the NCAA tournament? How would that have trickled down for you guys?
So the GLVC, we're an NCAA Division II league. So we get 15 member schools in 4 Midwest states. And so that men's basketball tournament is extremely important to every Division II and Division III conference in the country because we get 4.3% of whatever that revenue is from Turner. So that funds all the Division II national championships, all the Division III national championships. We get a pretty good chunk of change from the NCAA, but it all generates from the basketball tournament. And Charlie's done a great job as president because they've expanded with some other sponsors for the NCAA. So that's critical revenue for our schools to have. So it
sounds like more games, if an expanded field, might mean more revenue for you.
So
guys,
we are champions of that next contract. I think it runs through 32, but I'm pretty sure they're already starting to renegotiate. So yeah, if it's an expanded field and the television rights fees go up, then that's good for everybody that plays under the NCAA umbrella.
And Drew, a couple of your teams have been in the spotlight the last couple of years in the NCAA tournament. What does that mean for trickle down for the Horizon when one of your teams, like Oakland a couple of years ago, that everybody was falling in love with and makes an extra appearance? How does that work out for you guys?
Yeah, it's incredible the exposure that university, that athletic department, and the Horizon League gets from Oakland knocking off Kentucky 2 years ago. Even just this last year, RMU took Alabama down to the wire and nearly had them. So just the exposure for the university itself. Oakland did a big study after they knocked off Kentucky just about the media value of what that exposure was because it was a CBS 7:30 game. Just the amount of viewership, how much exposure they got is media value that they could never purchase themselves. So it's awesome. Yes, the media or the tournament units that come with a win to the league office that's distributed to our membership is also great because anytime we can get more money, everyone's looking for that these days. But yeah, just the recognition, the brand recognition for those universities in the league is something that we cannot purchase.
Yeah.
Jim, to pivot to the GLVC for a second, I've covered high school sports and did it for quite a while here in Northwest Indiana, and all the kids say they want to go Division I. I want to go Division I, but there's some great Division II programs out there. So what are you selling or trying to let them know about the programs you offer. And I honestly think it's great athletics. And honestly, if you can play as long as you can, I think you should. So what do you kind of pitch, a 17-year-old when they're trying to figure out what's next for them?
Yeah, James, I think that's a great question. At the Division II level, at least within the GLVC, we're not seeing a whole lot of traction with NIL. If student athletes are getting anything, it's something they're generating through their own social media posts. So it really is the traditional model of intercollegiate athletics. The vast majority of our student athletes are on scholarships. Most of the full rides are in men's and women's basketball, so football and everybody else is on partial rides. But there's still very much an academic component to that experience, but there's also time. They have time as student athletes to train and to compete at a very high level, but they can also be involved and get internships. There's other opportunities that will enhance that academic experience. But we try to sell the entire balance of it all, that it's you're not a professional, and the reality is they're going to go on to other things in their careers, whether it's professional or the military or whatever industry they decide to pursue. But we really try to sell access to NCAA Division II championships, because if you can compete in the GLVC, in volleyball, in men's soccer, in baseball, in football, you've got a great shot of having a postseason experience for a Division II national championship.
Great stuff. As an old NAIA guy myself.
Where'd you play?
It was at Mesa College, which is now a Division II school, Colorado Mesa University.
Colorado Mesa.
And to your point, the experience, unbelievable. Obviously, I wasn't going to play in the NFL. I wasn't going to, play at a major college, but just the experience and to be able to keep playing, as James said, unbelievable. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Hit them straight today, all right?
Absolutely.
Drew Namovich from Horizon League, Jim Namovich from Great Lakes. Love it, man. Thanks for being here. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks for having us.
All right, and we are getting ready to tee off here at Legends Golf Course. James, you got to go swing a stick, man. You got to do that.
Yeah, it's going to be looking real rough
out
here like Charles Barkley, but hey, it is what it is.
All right, Colts coverage starts at 4.